There's so much to unpack here. 3.5 weeks ago, I traveled to a remote village in South India to participate in this festival called Goraba. We just don't know if it's actually happening for a fact. We confirm it is real. They spend 6 months stockpiling cow poop to then throw at each other in a sort of warlike scene. So they believe in a god born from a pile of cow poop, as the legends say. All good stuff will happen if you rub yourself in the shit. It will heal you. Some of your dreams might come true. Poop rabbit hole goes even deeper as relates to Hinduism. So,
Epstein Island. Like, how the f did you get on that thing again?
we rented jet skis, and you're not that far from the main island with the temple, with all the Epstein. So what's crazy about this is that I think they're turning into a museum.
It's where they plan to develop a world-class 5-star luxury resort.
It's world of man. We haven't even talked about like Palantir or any of that stuff. That's interesting, right?
Very interesting.
And they've used that technology apparently to...
What's up, everybody? We have been working on doing this podcast for over a year with Tyler. I was glad to finally get him in here. So I hope you enjoy the episode. And if you have not already, please take 1 second and hit that subscribe button. It is the #1 piece of help we can get to grow this channel and get our videos into the algorithm so that we can get guests like Tyler. So thank you to everyone who's already subscribed, and thank you to all of you who are going to do so now. Enjoy.
No, I know.
It's game forever.
It's a tough game.
Very tough game, dude. It's great to have you here, though, Ty.
Yeah, are we jumping into it?
We're jumping right into it.
Thanks for having me, Julian.
Apparently, you're like in a pile of shit right now. What the hell's going on?
Okay, well, about 3.5 weeks ago, I traveled to a remote village in South India called Kumatapura.
Kumatapura.
So I think it literally means like village of the cows.
Okay.
He can fact check me on that, but that's what my translator Vivek said. We bought the flights like 8 months ago to participate in this festival called Goraba. It's spelled like Gorehaba.
Okay.
It's called Goraba, apparently. They spend 6 months amassing, stockpiling cow poop to then throw at each other in a sort of warlike scene. Something you'd see out of Dunkirk, but with cow poop. And they believe the cow poop has healing properties, sanctifying properties. The cow poop is very holy. We can jump into that a little bit deeper. It depends on how deep you want to go in this poop rabbit hole.
I would actually like to, to be clear, for people who haven't seen your channel, you've been around for a long time, which is amazing because you're only like 25, turned 26, right?
Yeah.
But your channel's incredible. You cover stories around the world, ranging from things that go to like political events all the way to random shit, no pun intended, like this.
Yeah, cultural festivals.
Dude, you did on this actual documentary, which caused a whole storm again.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. You did an amazing job actually like presenting it and making it clear like, yo, this is one village in a country of 1.5 billion people. It is what it is, but you got like a ton of blowback from it.
A lot of it.
From Indian people, right?
Yeah, I was getting right, man. Yeah, we're going to need to dial back the poop puns, but yeah, no, a lot happened. So I put out a teaser the day after we filmed it. It might have been the day of. We can go back in time. We can start from the beginning of the event itself, but it leads to some controversy. Yeah. I got doxxed. My family's businesses are out there getting Google review bombed from India. There's been some blowback. I'm not smiling because it's good. It's just a funny series of events.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning.
Sure. So I go to this poop throwing festival. We don't know for a fact it's even happening. So we have a day to scout the area and make sure it is in fact happening.
What was the holdup?
We just don't know if it's actually happening for a fact. So we gambled our money and time just to go there in the first place to confirm it was in fact happening. As maybe they stopped doing it. Our guide Vivek, this Indian guy who's from New Delhi, capital of India. He's from North India. Yeah. We're in remote southern India. He basically confirms it's happening, but he can't give us a 100% guarantee. So we allot a day to go scout ourselves and confirm the poop will in fact fly. So we go there with Vivek, my cultural guide, translator, and his buddy Simon. He speaks the local dialect of Kannada, which is spoken in this area in the state of Karnataka in southern India.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, India speaks a bunch of languages. He can pull up the exact number. And English is the binding glue that allows all of India to communicate, surprisingly. You'd think it's Hindi, but Vivek, he was telling me that English is the sort of binding glue in terms of communication because there's so many languages that play.
I mean, I get a lot of phone calls to prove that point. I'm just saying.
Yeah. And I think that's why they're so prolific for their IT work.
Yes.
And why we offshore so many jobs for these guys to speak English.
And hiding the Epstein files, but
Yes. Oh my God.
we'll get to that.
Yeah. There's so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
Long story short, we show up a day before the festival to make sure the poop is there, this event is happening, that it's real, it's not fake news. We confirm it is real. They're like, yup, it's happening tomorrow. You're more than welcome to participate. They're super welcoming. They're very hospitable, very kind people.
They were.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Yes.
I rock with them. It was in stark contrast to if you were to visit New Delhi or Mumbai. This is densely populated, metropolitan experience, ton of people, loud, sort of New York vibes, if you will, but Indian version.
Yes.
It's night and day difference. This was calm, remote village in the south of India. They say, yep, it's happening. You can be a part of it. Basically, let's have some fun. So I show up the next day. I partake in the festival. I immerse myself knee deep, shit deep.
Yeah, you didn't even wear, like, you wore a hazmat suit,
Yeah.
Dave. Can we just pull it? We can't show the video because this will get demonetized and reported. But, like just pause it right there.
Yeah.
You're wearing a hazmat suit,
Yeah.
but your face is outside of the eyes, totally exposed. Your hands and feet are completely exposed. It's almost like you might as well have just not even worn the suit.
Might as well have taken my shirt off,
Yeah, that's
gone
what I'm
naked.
saying.
You'll notice there are only naked Indian men in the frame with me and women on the exterior observing the event.
So what's going on there? The women are
The women
smart
don't
ones?
get to have fun.
Oh.
As it relates to this festival, they get to participate in the logistics, the collection of the dung, the poop, but they don't get to throw the poop at the men or get in the dog pile here. So
Now,
only men.
Why are they doing this again? What's the?
Yeah.
It has to do with
Try to give you some
religion.
religious context.
Yeah.
So they believe in a god by the name of Bireshwara Swami. This god was born from a pile of cow poop, as the legends say. Born. It spawned from the cow dung, the cow poop, Julian. This is real. And this god is a manifestation of Shiva, the god of destruction and regeneration, something like that. I'm not a Hindu mythological expert or Hindu religious expert. Fact check me on that. Bireshwara Swami, manifestation of Shiva. Okay? So they believe the cow poop has healing, sanctifying, and purifying elements. So if you rub it in your skin, it will heal you. By celebrating this event, some of your dreams might come true. All good stuff will happen if you rub yourself in the shit. Literally. So there are healing elements if you rub yourself with the poop. If you have open wounds or acne, for instance, that'll go away. But they told me they don't even have to worry about that because they've been doing it every year. So they don't even have any skin issues. They've been rubbing themselves in the poop every year.
You get a good look at the skin.
I saw some acne. That's the problem I have with it.
Yeah.
But the poop rabbit hole goes even deeper as relates to Hinduism. There's another goddess by the name of Lakshmi. Lakshmi, as the mythology says, was... Oh, man, this is tough.
You're doing well.
I'm trying, man. This is tough because I want to have, respect for Hinduism to some extent, but this is really tough for me to explain this because it doesn't make sense to me. But I'm going to try my best. Lakshmi needed a place to stay. So the cows offered her their cow dung and their piss for her to live in. So Indians will rub the cow poop inside their homes as a way to invoke or solicit prosperity in their households, riches. So she's the goddess of prosperity, Lakshmi. And when you see cow dung on the ground, it's believed that she resides within the cow dung, from my understanding. So Indians historically, and I think to some extent still right now, will use cow poop to insulate the interior of their homes as insect repellents and as just a material to build their homes with.
How old is this tradition? Like how?
The locals told me a couple hundred years.
Oh, that's actually younger.
Kind of
than I
young.
thought. Yeah.
Like you can't really defend that, right?
That's harder to defend.
It's about as old as our country, the United States of America. Like, this isn't like as ancient as I thought it was. They're like, some said 100 years, some said 300. So we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say 300 years.
Okay.
Or more. Because that makes the story more understandable.
Okay.
But that's not that old, Julian.
No.
So how are we still here, right? How are we at this point? I don't know. But they love the cows. The cows are seen as this benevolent, generous, wholly like cattle or livestock that brings life to the community because, obviously, they give you milk, which you can turn into food products you can consume. You get your calories you need. Subsist off the cow. So it's like a major, major crime, from my understanding, to kill a cow in India.
All right, that part makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think part of this is like, it sounds objectively crazy to do something like
Correct.
anything along the lines of this to pretty much anyone who doesn't live in this place.
Well, it also defies modern medical science, right?
Of course, because I was just going to ask you, like, are there any studies to back the claims that they make about the health benefits?
So they claim there are studies that exist. They claim there is irrefutable scientific evidence that suggests consuming cow poop in small amounts reduces or prevents the chances of you contracting cancer, for instance. Many rural Indians will in fact tell you that this cow poop is a panacea, a cure-all for various diseases. You have any chronic pain, any issues with you, Julian?
I had an issue I have eosinophilic asthma.
Okay, so I don't know what that is.
Could that have
but
solved?
It doesn't matter because we can give you some cow shit. You eat a little bit every day, you'll probably be good, bro. Like, it ain't that difficult. It's not that complicated.
I should have just done that, Deef. I would have saved myself 4 years of fucking pain.
We're overcomplicating it, Julian.
I guess so.
Where are we headed with this? Okay, in 2020, there is widespread interest in India by the government to propose a study by the Department of Science and Technology to research the medicinal benefits of cow poop. So they wanted to launch a study, but Indian scientists, they signed a large petition, a large quantity of Indian scientists were like, don't do this, guys. This is a waste of resources. This defies our understanding of science.
All right, buckle up, because this is one of my favorite strange but true rabbit holes. There's actually a working theory, a legit anthropological theory, that Santa Claus may have been inspired by a psychedelic mushroom shaman. I know. You've probably heard this one before, but I got something cool to offer you in combination with this working theory. Those red and white Christmas colors, those flying reindeer, the jolly mood, they all trace back to Amanita muscaria, the bright red mushroom with white spots, as seen in Mario, Alice in Wonderland, Christmas art, everywhere. And here's the crazy part. That mushroom isn't just symbolic. At the right dose, Amanita muscaria can actually give you this warm, jolly, euphoric feeling and enhance your sleep instead of destroying it like alcohol does. It's completely legal in almost every state, totally non-addictive, and people have been using it for thousands of years for relaxation, vivid dreams, calm, and these gentle, feel-good, psychoactive effects. This thing has been hiding in plain sight your entire life. And the folks leading the charge on bringing the mushroom back into the mainstream are Amantara. They're the largest and most trusted Amanita muscaria supplier in the US. With over 45,000 customers, they're doing it the right way. Ethically, sustainably, and with high quality. So look, whether Santa was tripping on mushrooms or acting as some ancient shamanic symbol, that part is still debated. But what's not debated is you can tap into the spirit of that Christmas mushroom yourself this holiday season. Legally, safely, and without destroying your sleep or your next morning. So go to amantara.com/go/Julian. That link is in my description below. Once again, that's amantara.com/go/Julian and use code JD22 at checkout for 22% off your first order. Again, that's code JD22 for 22% off your first order. Much love and happy holidays. I thought you were going to say
that's real, right?
I thought you were going to say it's for COVID. I was like, come on.
COVID as well. During COVID, they were smearing themselves.
It's real.
This is all real, man.
Oh my God.
During COVID, they were smearing themselves in cow poop as a means of destroying COVID in their bodies. And they're also doing something called Cow-Dung therapy, where they would burn the cow dung, you would ingest it, and this led to black fungus epidemic that spread throughout India because the fungal spores were within the cow dung that then proliferated themselves throughout India that caused a massive black fungus epidemic, which is like a 54% chance of mortality.
Oh my God.
So all of these unintended consequences from these misunderstandings of medicinal benefits of cow poop. But what do I know? I'm not a doctor. I only graduated high school.
Well, shout out to the rest of the country for saying this shit's crazy.
Exactly, right?
You know what I mean?
Obviously, disclaimer, not every Indian believes this, but this is...
Like 2 of them. All right, 5.
You're being a little bit too generous, Julian. You're being a little bit too generous, man. More than 2, more than 5, a lot.
It's all right. When we say a lot, we're talking 100. It seemed like this town was like a few hundred deep.
Yeah, I think the village is maybe no more or less than no more. Okay, that's no more than 1,000, 2,000.
Right. Okay.
A few visitors.
So
from
that's
about
it's a small village. Who believes it.
Yes, in this particular village, the myth of this god originating from the cow poop, it's localized to this village. To your point, this is not a widespread tradition in India. So disclaimer to all of India: we love you. This isn't an attack on India. It's localized to one village.
Right.
Yes.
How did you keep a straight face the whole time with this?
Because I'm a respectful guy, Julian.
You're very obviously, but like you kept a perfectly straight face the whole video. And like for people who haven't seen your channel before, you literally got the selfie stick out there. Sometimes you're talking to these people, panning around, like filming while you're doing it. And like at the beginning of the video, you got one guy eating the couch.
Oh, yeah, dude. That one's tough. I think I actually failed in keeping a straight face for that one. I had a little smirk that appeared on my face. What's tough for me is they say it in such earnestness, right? Yeah. Clearly, this guy believed the cow poop actually has medicinal benefits, so good for him. I'm not here to burst his bubble, right? Who am I? I'm just a guy walking through. So that's great. He believes it works. Maybe there's some placebo effect, and he's in great health. And we're over here dying, consuming seed oils, getting cancer left and right. Who are we?
Who are we? In that scenario, who are we?
But I'm trying to learn as much as I can, and then I'll process it after the fact.
So how many people did you take out there with you for that?
Me and my cameraman.
Just two.
It. And then Vivek, who flew in from New Delhi to, what is it, Bengaluru, some southern major city, and then we drove to Gumatapura. Okay. About a 2-hour drive.
Now, when you finished and you actually had filmed it all and gone through the festival yourself, and I mean, to talk about seeing it up close, feeling it up close, the whole bit.
I ingested it. It was in me.
First of all, what did that feel like?
Well, I would say shit generally tastes like how it smells. That was my learning experience. They'll try to argue that cow poop is inherently less shit because they only consume grass. This is a lie for a few reasons. The shit, first of all. Secondly, these cows are wandering, eating trash half the time. Oh, they don't have a pure diet of grass.
That's not good.
There's a ton of trash in India. We can't dance around these facts.
Yeah.
New York has some filthy little rat holes around here. We can't dance around that fact either. We got our own issues. A lot of it, I'm sure, has to do with rapid industrialization of the country, extremely dense population, but there's some more interesting twist to all of this.
Okay.
So, India has a caste system historically.
Yes.
The lowest rung of the caste system are known as the Dalits, or the untouchables. Mm-hmm. You do not touch them because they are so filthy, or so they believe, right? They believe these people are permanently polluted individuals. They're the lowest of the low. So, these people have historically cleaned up the streets, picked up the shit off the streets. They clean up everything. They're sort of the slave class in India. Officially, I believe the caste system is outlawed, and this is not legal to have these people work these jobs within the confines of their caste. But historically, the Dalits, or the untouchables, have cleaned up all the trash for the rest of the Indians. So if you were to tweet this, you would get extreme immediate resistance, and they would deny the caste system exists in any meaningful way. But there is a legitimate argument to be made that the historical context of this slave class basically cleaning up all of the shit for everyone above them has led to this ingrained cultural habit of them just throwing shit.
Right.
And not literal shit. There's other issues with literal shit.
Yeah.
So open air defecation, like 10 years ago, there was a massive percentage of the population that just shat in open air. And apparently there's a reason for this as well. Because it sounds like just hyperbolic fiction, right?
That I've never been, so you're telling me.
Yeah, so it's not like you're walking through India and everyone's just shitting outside, obviously. Yeah. That's dramatic. That's unrealistic. But
Deep's like, I'm too hungover for this.
What percentage of India is... Yeah, it sounds like it's a fever dream. Everything I'm saying, right? I just came out of the car. I've driven like 5 hours straight. I have like 3 Red Bulls on my way here.
I could tell.
It sounds like I'm spurging, Julian, but I'm not. This is real, man. So look up what percentage of India is currently rural, please, if you don't mind.
Rural.
If you may oblige.
These timestamps are already going crazy.
64 to 69%.
Okay. All right, that would make
now,
sense.
Now, what percentage? Okay, so 65% of what 1.45 billion is what 840 million people.
Yeah.
Give or take. Not bad, right? Graduated high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got a little Alan fucking from The Hangover thing going there.
So a lot of people, right? A shit ton of people. That's 2 times what the United States.
That's more than.
We have like
the
400,
rural
400 million people in this country, something like
350.
that. 350.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say double the United States' rural Indians.
Right.
Okay, what percentage of rural Indians defecate in open air? We're going down a rabbit hole here, but it's a good time, right?
We're gonna be in the New York Post before. Yeah.
I would imagine the number comes up around 20%.
Yeah, 17.
Okay, 17%.
According to the HWO and UNICEF.
Okay.
So this is a significant improvement from older figures such as the 2015-2016 DHS estimate of 54%.
That's a lot of people, man. That's our whole fucking country for perspective.
They're going in the right direction.
And that's rapid improvement. To give them credit, rapid improvement. We're really proud of you guys. This is a big jump. I'm happy for the country.
Yeah.
But if you look up how many children were dying due to the health consequences of so much feces being in the streets.
Oh, no.
A lot of people were dying due to the severe lack of hygiene, indoor plumbing. You'll remember, what is it, Louis Pasteur? He's the innovator of open air, or germ theory. He's a germ theory guy, right? Louis Pasteur. You can fact check me on this.
That sounds familiar. Yeah, they've got annual child death estimates indicate that around 100,000 babies died annually due to poor sanitation in India, according to the 2017 article from ABC.
So it seems like this is an innocuous, silly conversation, right? But people are literally dying due to shitting in the streets. Babies.
Yeah.
So there's a reason people are shitting in the streets, apparently. And it also has to do with the caste system. So if you were to build a latrine in your home, for instance, a latrine being, let's call it a little hole. Let's say you go in your backyard. I know you don't have backyards in New Jersey.
We have those, Tyler.
You don't have a backyard.
You gotta be like. I may not have a backyard right here, but we got a lot of backyards. All right. There's a backyard behind you in that fucking picture.
Okay, got it. My bad. All right, here's a backyard, everyone. So let's say you didn't have a bathroom, you didn't have indoor plumbing. In that event, if you're in India, if you're the 65% of rural Indians that exist, you would build a latrine, Julian. You would dig a hole.
A shithole.
A shithole.
Yeah.
That's honorable, though. That's great. That means it doesn't end up in the street. You don't have issues with babies dying due to feces being in the streets, poisoning human lives.
Right.
But apparently there was widespread resistance to building a latrine, much less having indoor plumbing, because the feces would be inside the home. And if you were to have feces inside your home, then you would become unholy and you would be unable to worship in such a manner that you would otherwise be able to. You would become unclean. And in addition to that, the Dalits, the lowest rung of the caste system, historically would extract all of this poop. Now that the caste system no longer has the same role it once did, people would rather just shit in the streets because it's more clean, holy way to get it out of your system, from my understanding.
But dirtying up the whole fucking ecosystem.
Poisoning their whole country, yeah.
Jesus Christ. But
I'm not a shit expert, by the way. I'm doing my best.
You're doing your best. Yeah, I mean, you got your numbers in your head. But, I mean, I will say, clearly there's been some sort of, like, massive fucking movement 100%. To be like, let's fix this. Because going from 54 to 17 in, like, 6 years is kind of crazy.
It's impressive. Look up poo in the loo.
Poo in the loo.
Poo in the loo. So you may wonder then, now I'm just weaving. We're just
I love a weave, bro. That's what we do.
So you may wonder, if you take a people who culturally have a practice of shitting in the streets, what might happen if you import them en masse to other countries? Let's say Great Britain. So let's look up Great Britain poo in the loo. This was a government campaign to incentivize people to poop in the toilet.
Yeah, well, this one's even the one in the first one Deep had was in India, actually, even. But I see what you're saying. So let's go back to the second one you get.
Yeah.
So correct. Yeah, in Great Britain, poo is flushed from the loo. The term loo.
You can't make this stuff up, man.
It's a polite and informal way to refer to a toilet while the world's exact. Okay, that's the actual thing. That first link you had, that one was from literally India. Take poo to the loo.
To the loo.
So this is it's shortened to poo.
A UNICEF campaign.
Yeah, UNICEF campaign
to combat the country's problems with open defecation.
Right, and this is in India, right?
I believe so.
So they're borrowing the term, from the British.
The British colonized them, right?
Right. Yeah.
So we're kind of just jumping around, just talking about shit at large right now. But yes, the festival. It's the only festival that I'm aware of that throws poop at one another. I believe, this is ambitious of me, I believe there is also a village somewhere in India that recreates mountains made of dung to emulate Krishna, one of their other gods, the blue-skinned god, one of their major gods, who lifted up a mountain to save cows in one of their fables.
Wasn't that the dude from Wild Wild Country, that Netflix, or am I fucking that up?
Krishna?
Didn't he believe in like the Krishna stuff?
I don't know.
I might have mixed that up. Correct me in the comments.
Wild Wild Countries?
Yeah, it was a documentary on Netflix about the... I'm talking about, Deef?
Yeah, the guy who came as a sex cultist. I've seen that, I think.
Yeah, what the fuck was that? I might be mixing it up with another one, but Osho, was he into the Krishna thing, or did I make that up?
So Krishna is the 8th avatar of Vishnu, from my understanding.
Rajneesh. All right, that's not Krishna.
That means nothing to me.
His was a new religious movement.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right, based on getting pussy. Got it. Okay.
They love pussy. All right. Who doesn't, right? But okay. Actually, speaking of pussy. So there's some crazy weaves we're doing right now because India has an issue in which there is a gender disparity, meaning there are far more men, I think approximately 50 million more men than women in India. No. And this is due to historical practices in which they would kill female babies, because if you live in a world where there is a dowry system and you as a father need to practically pay another family in the form of a dowry to receive your daughter as the wife of your son, let's say, who is now her husband, then there is a cost to having a daughter. So if you're a family and you want to build wealth, what's the best thing to do? Have a son.
Yeah.
You don't want to have a daughter. So historically, there's widespread practice of infanticide in which they would kill female babies. And then when abortion technology made its way in India, you would see a lot of these abortion clinics in New Delhi, major cities basically, where they would kill female babies. So now you're left with disproportionately more men than women. And that presents interesting issues in which men are facing this supply and demand issue where they can't get a wife. There's heightened competition for women. There's arguably sexual aggression, right? If we were to put a bunch of mice in a cage and there were 3-to-2 ratio of men to women, the men would probably start ripping each other's heads off to secure one of those women.
Yeah.
So it's
biology.
And now I'm just speculating. So that begs the question as to why there's so many Indians being imported into every country on planet Earth.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like, to give credit to India, a lot of the people there, because they're bilingual in many cases, and again, when you're looking at the lower parts of the historical class system, those people aren't given a shot, and that's not fair to them. But I'm saying, like, when you look across the full population, a lot of people who wind up coming to America and some of the other countries are like insane talent, and they can't capitalize on that talent in India because there's less job opportunities and stuff like that. That's why they're fucking calling our phones and shit.
Sure.
So there's a very weird mix there.
I 100% agree with you that there are many people in India, I'm sure countless, who have been not given the same opportunity perhaps you and I have been to maximize the quality of their lives. And they're in legitimate competition with over 1 billion people in their country. Yeah. It's a massive country, but a ton of people. That sucks. Sorry, guys. With that being said, is that to say we are then to throw away the fabric of Western civilization to accommodate a few Indians who have been fucked over by some historical caste system in their own country? I would say no.
No, I don't think you do. I think,
but it does suck for them. I feel bad.
Absolutely. I think,
but not bad enough to sacrifice the future of America.
100%. 100%.
That's what I would say.
I think, and you've done a lot of work on some of the mass immigration that's been happening in a lot of different countries, not, just from India, from everywhere.
Sure.
And I think we're at a moment where we got to really find a way to have some common sense and strike a balance. I heard in one of your videos someone talking about, being labeled a racist and all this stuff. And they're like, I'm not. All I want to see is I'm cool with someone having their culture. But when it comes to like assimilating to like first world values in our culture, if you're going to come here, those assimilations have to happen. And when I look at our America, which we were the first melting pot of all this, there were growing pains with that. But that's what people did.
Sure.
Grandma came here in like my family lineage and spoke Italian in the house, but the kids spoke English too.
Sure.
Right? And then the generations grew on that. And what seems to be happening, and you would know better than me because you've been on the ground in a lot of this, is you're seeing a lot of communities, whether it be in England, France, Germany, United States sometimes, but I'm looking more at Europe right now. You're seeing a lot of communities where they mass migrate into said country, and then they say, we're bringing our entire culture, we're taking on none of yours. And that balance is not good. I agree.
I mean, I even was walking across the street to get to your office, the studio, wherever we're calling it, and I hear a number of languages that are not English. I'm like, where the fuck am I? I'm in the global bazaar, right? What is the national identity in a city like New York City, right? Is the whole premise to be this global bazaar where you can go get tikka masala, halal, pizza? What does it mean to be an American in New York City? I don't know anymore. I was at the gas station. I had to take a piss so bad, my bladder was on the verge of exploding. I walk to the front counter. I say, hey, where's the bathroom? He points. I come back. Man, you're a lifesaver. Thank you so much, bro. You having a good day? He says, no, and he smiles. He had no fucking clue what I was saying, bro. He didn't speak English. So we got to ask ourselves, what is the common ground to be an American? What is American identity? It seems to be unraveling, or we're at a pivotal point in which we need to identify what it actually means to be an American, right? We're grappled with some pretty important questions that you and I will have to answer in our lifetime that will dictate the future, the heart and soul of what it means to be American.
Yeah. Did you know that there's an online cannabis company that ships federally legal THC right to your door? And that this company has found a way to combine THC with carefully selected functional ingredients to target nearly every mood and health concern you can think of? The company I'm talking about is Mood.com and their incredible line of functional gummies. And today you can get 20% off your first order at Mood.com by using promo code Julian at checkout. Forget one-size-fits-all supplements that only get you high. Mood's functional gummies are optimized to kick in as little as 15 minutes and take you to the mood you're looking for. Whether that's Mind Magic gummies for deep work and creativity, PMS support to ease cramps and balance mood swings, or their sexual euphoria gummies to help you feel ready for action and turn every touch into a full body experience. Listen, you can find gummies to just get you high pretty much anywhere these days. But Mood's functional gummies combine premium, federally legal THC with targeted botanicals to help you get into the perfect mood, usually in as little as 15 minutes. And everything ships discreetly right to your door. No dispensary lines, no awkward conversations, just better days and nights delivered to your doorstep. Best of all, not only is every Mood product backed by a 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, our listeners are going to get 20% off their first order at Mood.com by using promo code Julian at checkout. So head on over to Mood.com, link in my description below, find the functional gummy that matches exactly what you're looking for, and let Mood help you discover your perfect mood. And once again, don't forget to use promo code Julian at checkout to save 20% off your first order. I think it's, I have a picture right outside the studio of Bill the Butcher from Gangs of New York. Okay. And that's actually very apropos. You ever seen that movie?
Nope.
Oh my God, phenomenal movie. So the premise is it's Daniel Day-Lewis, Leo DiCaprio, Marty Scorsese, all-timer.
All right.
But the premise is it starts in 1840s New York. New York is really starting to burgeon, and you have all the natives, the people whose families were originally here, and then you have the dirty Irish, right? And so Bill Cutting is a native, right? And so he fights this war with Leonardo DiCaprio's father and wins. Leonardo DiCaprio flees the city as a child, comes back as an adult, and sets up an Irish gang. And the whole concept is we don't want your dirty values in here or whatever. So I always look at that the resistance of being able to bring in a bunch of people fighting against the idea that people want to be a part of this, but the resistance doesn't think they want to be a part of it. So right now, what I was saying a minute ago is that we're at a moment where a lot of the people who maybe do want to come into these places are like, yeah, I want to be here, but they're not really about being here like they were when they came to Ellis Island.
Sure.
They're like, I want to become a part of this. And I think we have to change the expectations and the attitudes of people to be like, I want to be a part of this. Because by the way, I do know people who come here and like, they're all about, they want to learn the language. They want to be a part of the culture. They love America.
Yeah, but shouldn't
then
they
you
have
see
learned the
people
language before they've set foot at the doorstep of a
Depends.
country? You really think so?
Yeah,
Unless they're
yeah.
fleeing a war-torn country or
That's what I'm
somewhere
saying.
that's legitimate, destabilized, genocide,
Right.
Which I don't think is the predominant immigration story today. I think there's a lot of economic migration
Sure.
where people see America as a land ripe for economic, basically, economic plundering, economic exploitation, whatever word you want to use. They see dollar signs. They don't see, I'm going to learn English or do my best to prepare myself to speak the native tongue, which we don't have a national language, but it's English, all right? I would argue.
We don't have it.
We don't have a national language officially,
Well,
I don't
it's
believe.
not called
he
American.
can fact check me on that.
It's not called American, but like we speak English here.
We speak English,
Yeah.
but we also speak Spanish. We also speak whatever the
Sure.
fuck we want, I guess,
Yeah.
tomorrow. And if enough Haitian people come into New York City, let's say, then maybe we speak Haitian Creole. Maybe that's the unofficial language. He can
badass
fact check. It's interesting. We don't have an official national language, do we?
I've never thought about like if that's written like in the Constitution or some shit. But like
I mean, maybe I'm...
yes, English was designated. Oh,
Okay,
it
as
wasn't
of this-
designated until 2025.
Okay, as of Trump. There you
Holy
go.
shit.
So this is interesting because it belies a more interesting conversation of
Wow.
if we don't clearly define these things and what it means to be an American, right? What is the common tongue we have? Is it English? Is it Spanish? Is it French? Is it Haitian Creole? What religion are we? Are we just any religion? Insert the blank. Are we Catholic? Are we Protestant? Are we Muslim? Are we
Religion's
Jewish?
where I would draw the line because we do have written into the Constitution freedom of religion, and
Sure.
we're not, and there's a separation of church and state. So
We can have
I'm cool.
But is there separation of church and state? First of all, and secondly,
Great question.
Is the Constitution liable to be amended once again?
Why would you amend it to not separate church and state? What's the argument there?
First of all, I would argue there never has been separation of church and state. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, under God, indivisible, whatever it is. Protestant values have been imbued within the Constitution from the get-go, right? So there are not one-liners from the Quran or the Torah. I mean, we can have a conversation about the whole Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah, it's a separate
But inarguably, it's a Protestant nation, right? Of Protestant settlers. Now we're undergoing identity crisis and this change in identity of New York City. Zoran Mamdani, I'm not an expert on the guy, but he speaks Arabic at one of his, the end of one of his speeches.
He does
where
have
wins.
a lot of accents. Yeah.
He's learning many tongues to accommodate the third world class that has been imported into New York City recently. For better or worse, that's just a fact. But he will appeal. What percentage of foreign-born New Yorkers voted for Zoran Mamdani would be an interesting question. I can give you a more
based on polling, I guess, right?
I don't know how accurate any of this stuff is. We're kind of just throwing stuff at the wall.
It's all right. It's a fun conversations. All right, so this is from the New York Post. Zoran Mamdani most popular with foreign-born New Yorkers. 62% of the foreign-born vote, while Cuomo netted 24% and Sliwa had 12%.
I wonder why. He's not born and raised here.
Yeah.
He appeals to people who are not born and raised here. He appeals to non-heritage Americans, right? I have a more practical example that I think will strike some questions in your head. I think it's an interesting example.
You've been striking a lot of questions in my head.
All right, good. Okay, good. Because I'm just caffeinated right now. I'm kind of hyped up. I'm glad to be here, by the way. Thank you. So Hamtramck, Michigan was a predominantly Polish town. It's basically a suburb of Detroit.
Okay.
I believe in 2023, the city council unanimously votes in favor of banning the hanging up of a gay flag, LGBTQ plus flag, in Hamtramck. The city council unanimously votes in favor of not allowing them to hang up this flag on public property.
Yeah.
Interestingly, This was a predominantly Polish town, and then I believe 44% of the population is born outside of the country now today. So almost half of the town was not even born here. The city council is, all three representatives are Muslim. Through this acceptance and this sort of this kind, welcoming attitude this town had, they have allowed people to come here and change the fabric of this idea of acceptance and hospitality. And then they banned the allowance of this flag to be hung up. And we did a video there almost 2 years ago. And these little Muslim kids from Yemen, or they're born here, their parents are from Yemen. So they're, I guess, what, first gen?
Yep. Is that what it is? I always forget.
I always fuck it up too.
Is it first gen?
It's first gen.
If you're okay.
So they're throwing eggs at the gay flags that are hung up on private property in this town. And then a school teacher in this video comes out and he tells these kids, I used to be your teacher. This country was built on separation of church and state, basically. And these kids kept saying that gay LGBTQ plus flag is not religion. We have the right to practice our religion. Basically presenting this interesting question of, when you have this Muslim majority in a town like Hamtramck, at what point, if at all, do they infringe upon someone else's ability to have their flag up or whatever, right? What are the cultural implications of this religion becoming a majority in this town?
You're getting into the question of like where what you might describe as like wolf coming in the hen house, right? Like you're saying, oh yeah, come on in because you're dressed as a hen or whatever.
And then once boom, they assume political dominance.
Yes, and it uses it. Yeah,
they,
I see what
they
you're
eat
saying.
you alive.
Yeah.
Sure, and this little fable analogy we're using.
Yeah.
Or if you look at Dearborn, Michigan.
That was the one
and I'm not even trying to fearmonger, but these are two interesting case studies we're kind of witnessing play out in real time. If you look at Dearborn, Michigan, there's sort of a famous speech by the mayor. He responds to a local that has lived in the town. I think he starts mentioning like Hezbollah or something. I'm not sure what the impetus for this response was. But the mayor, you should play this clip. He goes, "You're an Islamophobe. I can't wait the day you leave this town."
I did see this. Yeah, someone was coming, and it was perfectly like kind of soft-spoken
chill
saying,
guy.
Like, I remember this clip. God, that was like 9 months ago.
This is like old Ford manufacturing town. Like, this is a bread and butter American manufacturing hotspot back in the day. Now run by Muslims who hate guys like him who are not excitedly happy that it is now Muslim majority.
Yeah, and again, this is where you got to ask some uncomfortable questions too, because it's like, let's play this clip.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting clip.
Is it?
This might be his earlier.
Look up Dearborn Mayor.
That's him addressing it after the fact.
There's a speech clip somewhere.
When he responded to it. I remember this though. I saw that.
It's a good clip.
Twitter. Yeah, but in the meantime, while he's grabbing that, you should be able to practice your religion freely in America. That's part of what we're built on. But when you take religious doctrine, even before you get into political office, by the way, I'm not even talking about getting to this level, but when you take religious doctrine and try to ingratiate that in culture, and let me give an example. You want to say that, your wife is not allowed to drive and I can never see anything but her eyes. I'm not the biggest fan of that because that's not what we stand for in the West. We stand for, equal opportunity for everyone, for men and women. So, like, I want you to be able to practice your religion, but you have to, in the same way that you've seen, like, most of Christianity have to modernize with things that don't make sense in the modern day, you should have that expectation of other religions, of course, with Islam as well. That's just
so how do you reconcile with a religion that fundamentally disagrees with that as a concept is my question. I don't know what the answer is, but it's an interesting question why we should even set ourselves up in the position to deal with that question and answer that question. What are the inherent upsides of importing people who have fundamental, intrinsic, cultural, religious differences, oil and water in some of these scenarios? And I'm not saying that is fully the case. There are similarities. It's a monotheistic religion. There are more similarities. I'm not an expert on the Quran or Islam, but it presents some important questions. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It's a huge, huge help. Thank you.
Let's play this clip real quick, and then we'll talk about that. You got it, Thief?
Yeah, this is the one.
And the guy was perfectly respectful.
Super civil. This
too.
is
And then further quotes. He talks about how the terrorists should strike them with knives and with their bare hands, and they're victorious. And he also encourages the use of rockets over there. And then another quote from 2022. We are the Arabs who are going to lift Palestinians all the way to victory, whether we are in Michigan and whether we are in Jenin. So the reason why I mentioned this is that it sounds like he could be inciting violence in Michigan. Believe me, I'm continuing the quotation. He says, believe me.
He's not. I just want to be clear. He can speak for himself.
Well, this is
I'm going to stop you because he's not a violent person. And you can interpret his words any way you want. But I will guarantee you he is not intending to incite violence anywhere in the world.
Well,
he could defend himself if he were here, but
sure,
we're not going to allow personal attacks in our community.
Okay, well, I'm just reading his words here.
That's fine, but you're interpreting his words after you read them. He did not use the word violence, did he?
Well, may I continue the rest of the quote?
Well, if you say you want to read them, you can read them. If you want to interpret and give your own opinion of what he's thinking, that's a different story.
That's September of this year, too.
Sure. I mean, I'd love to discuss this. I just want to finish the quote because there's more. Okay, I'll continue. Whether we are in Michigan and whether we are in Jenin, believe me, everyone should fight within his means. They will fight with stones. Others will fight with guns. Others will fight with planes, drones, and rockets. Others will fight with their voices, and others will fight with their hands and say, free, free Palestine. So I just find it very concerning. Did my 3 minutes include other people's words
that's
as well?
okay. There was some dialogue, but as the councilman indicated, and just we wanted to make sure you be careful, when you're talking about incitement or riot, there's legal terminations for that. There's legal precedent for that, and that's what the councilman has indicated, that you're drawing a conclusion that you have the right to draw.
Isn't there another guy
as I
too
indicated, the sign was
the
placed,
mayor should speak at some point. He roast the guy.
So,
can we cut
did
to
you have
that?
anything else you'd like to?
It's an 8-minute clip. Let's
speak on.
Yeah, hit that hot spot, the hump.
I think the only comment I'm going to make
yes, there is.
The best suggestion I have for you is to not drive on Warren Avenue, or to close your eyes while you're doing it. His name is up there, and I spoke at a ceremony celebrating it because he's done a lot for this community.
I don't know if this is the clip.
And I think it's
there it is. Sorry.
Quite hypocritical to know that you're approaching this podium when you yourself have videos on YouTube standing in front of my mosque saying the cruelest of things about Muslims, about the religion of Islam, because you are a bigot and you are a racist and you are an Islamophobe. And although you live here, I want you to know as mayor, you are not welcome here. And the day you move out of the city will be the day that I launch a parade celebrating the fact that you moved out of the city.
Yeah.
Because you are not somebody who believes in coexistence.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the actual context of this guy, his YouTube channel, the white guy who's speaking. Sorry. What's important, though, is we're literally importing ethnic conflicts in the Middle East to the United States and resolving them on our soil. We don't have to have this conversation. This should not be, in my opinion, a conversation we're solving. Why are we having this conversation on American soil?
I think part of it is because, and I think the mayor's response there was disgraceful in every way. Like, that's just not how you handle it as the mayor of any town, to say the least.
I would agree.
A lot of other things going on there. But like the particular issue that the person they honored is in the middle of talking about in his quotes has to do with the Israel-Palestine thing. And right now there are obviously massive, distaste for that entire conflict across America.
We don't give a fuck about Sudan, right?
That's exactly.
How many genocides do we care about?
Yeah,
and
Burma.
why do we? Keep going.
There's more. Burma, Sudan. There's a genocide they're now talking about finally in Nigeria that my friend Ali Tabrizi's been covering for a long time. You're absolutely right. There's other genocides around the world as well.
Plenty.
Yep.
But we only give a fuck about one or two, whatever's flavor of the week, when we have our own problems to deal with. Life is tough for the average American, inarguably. Yes. Young Americans are feeling hopeless, disenfranchised, despondent. People are giving up.
I think that's why people care about this one a little more, because we do fund Israel to the
and we shouldn't.
To billions of dollars.
100%.
So people get upset about that one.
Sure, and you have guys like Ben Shapiro, if you pull up the clip most recently of him saying, if you can't afford to live here, then move somewhere else, yet we're funding Israel to defend their entire country. So none of it makes any sense.
Oof.
We don't have any focus on our issues at home. We're caught up with all this nonsense across the ocean, and we don't care about the people zombifying in Philadelphia,
Kensington, yeah.
Any major city across the U.S., you'll see varying degrees of people zombifying in real time, dying on the streets. We give them the needles and the foil to kill themselves, and then we give, I guess, Israel the bombs to blow up countries in the Middle East on our behalf. And then we import the refugees from the countries we nuke. We don't nuke them literally. You get my point.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we have all these tribal conflicts to resolve on American soil. If you go to Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, the same mayor who kissed the golden casket of George Floyd, he won a re-election against a Somalian in Minneapolis by outmaneuvering the Somalian because he aligned with the correct tribal, the correct Somalians in Minneapolis. He appealed to one side of the ancient tribal conflict that's happening over in Mogadishu. So he outmaneuvered the Somalian, and he won because he aligned himself with the correct Somalian tribes within the large Somalian voter base. So Jacob Frey, white guy, beats the Somalian candidate by outmaneuvering his tribal alliances within Minneapolis in the country that is the United States of America.
Nice job, Jacob.
So we have tribal conflicts we're voting on the basis of in our country that has nothing to do with us, that dictates politics and who's our representatives. Not that the representatives probably even matter, but it's all a racket, right?
Right. I was telling you guys last time about my meeting last winter where I decided to get all swagged out, head to toe, except where it mattered the most, the socks. So when I got out of the PATH train, I had to walk up to 57th Street. Needless to say, my feet got soaked because my socks sucked. But if I'd had some hollow socks, I could have avoided this problem. And just what are hollow socks? Alpaca socks built for the field, or New York City in the snow. These are performance-grade socks made from ultra-soft baby alpaca fibers, engineered for rugged conditions and designed to keep your feet dry, warm, and comfortable no matter where the day takes you. They're also the only socks that will keep your feet warm when temperatures are below freezing or cooled off when they get above 80 degrees. And they're incredibly comfortable too. They're lightweight, supportive, and most importantly, soft. And even though they're 3 times warmer than wool, they're somehow still lightweight. And they would have kept my feet dry through the sleeting streets of New York, but that's neither here nor there. Their results speak for themselves. The company has over 2 million pairs sold, all made in the US and day. Once you go hollow, you'll never go back. Hollow makes all different kinds of socks as well, and even their everyday socks are perfect for a walk through New York or even going on a hunting trip. Now, for a limited time, Hollow Socks is offering a buy 2, get 2 free sale. All you got to do is head over to hollowsocks.com today to check it out. All you got to do is head over to hollowsocks.com today to check it out. That link is in my description below. That's hollowsocks.com for up to 50% off your order. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. If you love me, tell them I sent you. Right. And I think also there's a hyper awareness on all this stuff now because we can share, we can talk about a town in Michigan that you've been to it, but like the average person like me, we've never been there or whatever, but it's magnified because we have social media. And that's where I try to check this thing sometimes. I'm like, damn, what if we had social media like during Vietnam? Damn, what if we had social media during World War II? Damn, what if we had social media during like, the early 1900s when fucking millions of people were coming here every day?
Sure.
Interesting times. Like there are definitely growing pains and we're in them right now. And you're asking some valid questions about like cultural, I guess like assimilation, if that's what we're going to say. And you're right. It's very strange that you would have to win a mayoral election by appealing to a foreign cultural disagreement that's going on somewhere else to win here where you're in charge of how your economy works for the average person. You
said it way more concisely than I dreamt of. I agree. Now, in addition to that, we can talk about the H-1B drama.
Let's talk about that, yeah.
So we're on the topic of Indians for a minute. I'm not an expert on H-1B visas. All I know...
you are now.
All I know is it's a visa that's intended for specialty work with a minimum of a bachelor's degree, something like that, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be specialized labor. Is that what's the official Merriam-Webster's dictionary of H-1B visa?
Yeah,
that might be
actually,
a good.
That's something I should have looked up, like in general. So we talk about it all the goddamn time. Like, oh yeah, the smart people.
Specialized labor, from my understanding.
So an H-1B visa is a non-immigration visa that allows U.S. employers to temporarily hire foreign workers in specialty occupations that require theoretical or technical expertise with the minimum requirement of a bachelor's degree or its equivalent. These visas are employer-specific, meaning a worker can only be employed by a sponsoring company and are typically granted up to 3 years and can be extended for another 3 years. I was talking with an immigration attorney about my Venezuelan with this kind of thing, and there's like all kinds of...
It's a pain in the ass
there's a lot to...
So guess what percentage of Indians get all of the H-1B visa lotteries? Just guess before you look at the screen.
What percent? Wait. What percentage of all H-1Bs
there's a certain amount of
Indian?
H-1B visas allotted per year.
Yeah.
I think it is, 80,000? 65,000? What's the exact number?
It doesn't say right there, so we'll pull it up.
So there's a certain number of H-1B visas allotted via a lottery system.
And you're asking me what the percentage
What
of
percentage
those
do you
is
think
Indian?
go to Indians?
Yeah,
there's 85,000 H-1B visas
I'm gonna
allotted
guess,
via a lottery system, keep in mind.
I'm going to guess 60,000 of them go to Indians.
70% of the 85,000.
That might be dead on then.
And then like 11% are Chinese.
That's what I was taking the words out of my mouth, yeah.
So how the fuck does that even make any sense, right? How is it that all of this tech talent that's fueling our AI god we're building in Silicon Valley, how does 70% of that only come from India? Sure, they have a 1.5 billion people. But a lot of
talent there.
Is that what you believe?
1.5 billion people.
Do you genuinely believe that, though?
Yeah, we're only talking about
what about Germany?
60,000.
What about these highly developed Western countries with high IQs, extremely smart people? What about these people?
Change the question real fast. You're talking specifically like within tech for the most part, though.
Sure.
Right? Not to say there's not talent in Germany and stuff with tech. I want to be clear. Like, there's certainly talent. You have 1.5 billion people in India. You got a high degree.
See, that's a steel man. You're steel manning the idea, which I like. Yeah. I agree. We should do that. Let's assume there's so many people in India that out of the 1.45 billion-ish Indians, you just pluck a genius here and there. Just pluck, genius. But what if the reality was that they're from an extremely brutal country with a ton of people everywhere doing whatever they can to get out of this country, to make money in countries like the United States, to send a fraction of that money back home to India in the form of remittances? And what if they're willing to work 80 to 100-hour work weeks for lower amounts than Americans are, in worser conditions than Americans are? I don't know if worser is a word. Probably not.
We're going to make it.
That one hurt.
Yeah, that's all right.
What if these Indians are willing to work for less money, longer hours, shittier conditions? What if I told you that there's some ethno-nepotism involved, and that once a few Indian managers, guys who are hiring some of these coders, they want to hire Indians? I think that's part of the puzzle here. I think that is actually part of the reality. I think it is, perhaps there's some English proficiency and there is some skill, but it makes zero sense that 70% of them are coming from India. That's my position on this.
So that last part about, like, you know, protecting your own, that would make sense to me, because we see that in every culture, like, depending on what business it is, insert stereotype here. You know, it's like that's what they do. You know, they go grab
except
their
white
own.
people, because it's illegal.
But white people's also like a really broad range term, because I'll say this. So, for example, I'm from New Jersey, obviously. Like, all my Italian Irish, which is the most typical New Jerseyan, right?
Crazy, yeah.
All my friends are Italian, Irish, Greek, Jewish, and, you know, Hispanic. Those are probably like the big five of friends growing up.
Sure.
So the Italians and the Greeks especially are thrown in under the white people thing, but Italians hire Italians and Greeks hire Greeks.
Russians hire Russians.
Russians hire Russians.
Jews hire Jews.
100%.
This is real.
Yes.
Okay, interesting argument then. So we're now tasked with sort of distinguishing. So my last name is Oliveira. My dad's side is Portuguese. My mom is Irish and English, from my understanding. To the best of me, the surname on my mom's side is Dunlap.
Okay.
That's an Irish name.
Yeah.
My dad's last name, Oliveira.
So my last name,
my mom's as white as they come. Am I white? I got some ethnic ambiguity to my face, obviously.
That's a fair question, dude.
I don't know. What is white, right?
Yes.
Is it are we limited to Scandinavian, like Norway, Sweden?
I think
Denmark?
it's the dumbest thing ever. The whole, like, everyone except boom, boom is white. Yeah, I think it's very dumb.
So you're presenting the counter argument that other ethnic groups hire their own, exclusively their own.
Exclusively is a strong word, but they're biased.
For the most part,
there's
an in-group, out-group bias that they make.
Like Portuguese is another one. Like all the Portuguese I known a lot of them over the years.
Really?
They hire other Portuguese. Yeah.
He's not his head.
Yeah, I just said I got to take you to the Ironbound in fucking Newark.
That is fascinating. Because I don't know really any Portuguese people.
Oh, you don't?
I don't.
Oh, let's get in the car.
Really?
I'll introduce you to fucking 50 in the next 10 minutes. Yeah.
Got it. So then honestly, this is an interesting point. You've made me, I'm like, I'm fascinated now. Because from my understanding, from my observations in life, white people vaguely hire those who are most qualified, who present the most obvious. You're going to hire a Venezuelan editor if he's the best editor.
Yeah.
You're not going to hire a white guy.
No, I'm just going to hire the best editor.
Okay, there you go.
Right.
That's the only point I'm trying to present. My argument is, in the case of the tech industry, particularly Indians, they would hire a less qualified individual on the basis of him being Indian. So a 10% less qualified Indian may get the job over you.
Yeah, now I'll go back and I'll make the argument, though, among what we call white people. And
That's fair.
So my best friend from all my life, dual citizen agrees. Yes. I can guarantee you.
Ban dual citizenship, by the way.
I can guarantee you that they have hired Greeks over the years who were less qualified than other people who weren't Greek, and yet they're listed as Caucasian on the fucking college exam entrance. So I think it depends on the culture. When we're talking like, I don't know, old school Winthrop Anglo culture, that now actually 30 years ago wouldn't have been like this. But now I agree with you. It's more like those guys are just going to be like, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you're great, I'm fucking hiring you. They might even, you could pick the most stereotypical version of that Winthrop. Trust fund baby, lives in Nantucket, racist against fucking everyone. He doesn't care though if they're white, black, Hispanic, or whatever. If they can get that fucking number on his page, you're hired, kid. Like, I'll agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. Where are we going with this? We're talking about H-1B's 70%, ethnic in-group, out-group bias.
You're saying that with the H-1B system, there's...
ethno-nepotism involved, for sure.
You think there's a massive...
So if you look up... This is something interesting to pull up here. I'm not an expert on this. If you look up diploma mills and visa farms. So diploma mills are institutions in which... If I'm from India, for example, India's our, I guess, topic of focus right now. If I'm from India,
you're just getting all the you know that meme of
they came after my mom
standing there like this with the fucking gun.
Well, because the Hindustan Times said, "Is Tyler Oliveira's mom on OnlyFans?" ? So you know what, India, you're the topic of focus today because that's fucked up. My mom has nothing to do with this.
That is fucked up.
She did raise me though.
Keep the mom out of it.
Keep mom out of this one. Yeah. There's some article that says Tyler Oliveira's mom on OnlyFans now uploading videos to Pornhub. I'm like, these guys are stupid as fuck, bro. Like, these headlines are awesome, though, because that's like a banger one-liner for the Indians on Indian Twitter.
Oh, it's huge.
And everyone in the West is like, oh, what the fuck
huge.
Is this?
It's huge. I'm just a journalist here, people. Let's keep it real, but continue.
Diploma mills. So there are institutions that will offer anyone who will pay a diploma that gives them the proper accreditation to come to, let's say, the United States to work a job via, let's say, an H-1B visa. But the reality is that person, in fact, has zero accreditation or experience or knowledge required to work that job. These institutions offer fake diplomas for that individual to present themselves as if they were properly educated or qualified to work some of these jobs.
Like the University of Phoenix, or like, is that what we're talking? Arizona State?
Like truly legitimately fake colleges. If you look up like fake, what do we have? What's the top? A lot of these schools get busted.
Like Bishop Sycamore High School?
I only spent a semester in college, so I actually don't know. I went to a real college though during that time.
Where'd you go? UCLA?
UCLA, briefly, nice. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Diploma mills is a real thing.
So illegitimate entities that exploit education and immigration systems for profit.
So I watch these videos sometimes late at night where immigration officers will talk to people trying to enter various countries. And oftentimes people trying to enter, let's say, Spain will get pulled aside and the immigration officer will ask that person, where do you go to school? And let's say it's like a 40-year-old man. He's like, stumbles to name the school he goes to. She's like, what do you study? Name a few classes you've studied. And these guys fumble. So that's an example of someone who has paid a fake college institution, a scam college, some money. They get a fake diploma, and they use that as their means to enter a different country. But that rabbit hole goes even deeper. Look up visa farms.
Visa farms.
So visa farms are middlemen that overwhelm, let's say, H-1B visa lotteries to rig the lottery in favor of, let's say, Indians.
Oh, that's not where I thought. I was thinking you were going to be like ID chief or something.
No.
Like that. Okay, visa farms is not a recognized term for a specific program, but it likely refers to the process of using a visa program like the H-2A visa to legally hire foreign agricultural workers for temporary or seasonal farm jobs. This program allows U.S. agricultural employers to hire workers from other countries when domestic workers are not available for jobs like planting, cultivating, and harvesting.
This isn't what I'm referring to. Look up fake visa middlemen.
Fake
H-1B lottery, something like that. I might be giving the incorrect slang to give our Google AI overview the information we're trying to get here.
Okay. Fake visa middlemen are companies, often staffing or consulting firms, that have exploited loopholes and committed fraud within the H-1B visa program to gain an unfair advantage in the visa lottery and supply cheap labor to large U.S. companies.
There you go.
Okay.
So you have institutions like that in combination with diploma mills that overwhelm countries like Canada and the United States, their immigration system that is being gamified by scammers, basically, at scale.
Right.
That lead to widespread, legitimate demographic change. Cities.
Yeah, if you do this at scale.
Sure. Of course, right? And then you have, let's say, some of these H-1B visas get permanent residency, chain migration ensues. I sponsor my family to come to the U.S., and then my whole family, my extended family from India, now lives in San Bernardino. The process continues. That town goes from, let's use Hamtramck as an example, a Polish majority to a Muslim majority within a generation. That's worth noting, right?
Of course.
This is important.
Yes.
Inarguably, this is super important.
All the examples you're pointing out today, which are all verified, by the way, to be clear, this is what happens when you're given an inch and you take a mile, and you try to bastardize the spirit of what things are. And I think that's what we're in the middle of right now. I always talk about this with a million things on my show. The universal law of physics, it's the thing that makes the most sense to me in the world. For every action, there's an equal but opposite reaction to create equilibrium. In a perfect world, we're always at equilibrium, but life wouldn't be anything if it was equilibrium. That said, you want the actions here, not here, because that's where it gets violent. That's where suddenly you get whipsaws and swings. And we're in the middle of that because you see the towns like Dearborn. You see situations where it goes from fucking 0 to 100 overnight.
Dearborn, Minneapolis.
And it's a problem. Yeah.
There's more examples. I mean, go to Miami.
Yeah.
It's little Cuba. And that's cool and all because we love ethnic food, right? We love our tasty food.
But what's interesting about the Cuban one?
We fucked them over? Is that kind of what you're...
No. A lot of... With the Cubans...
Okay.
A lot of them become brilliant business owners. A lot of them actually love America because they hate where they came from in Cuba.
That's more reasonable.
Right?
That's
like
fair.
I actually like that one. Whereas what you've been talking about to this point are like when you're talking about let's bring Sharia law.
That's bringing their home to the United States.
That's fucking crazy.
Sure.
Yes.
Cuba's more an example of people who desperately want to be here and be a part of the system.
Yeah.
That's fair. I can agree with you on that. I just wish they spoke English in Miami.
I mean, you got to go to the right spots in Miami.
Come on, Julian.
They speak a lot of English there.
No.
Yeah, they do.
No. Spanish is the unofficial, official language of Miami. I'll die on that hill.
Yeah, but listen.
And I speak a little Spanish.
They also speak a lot of English. They go, come on, Chico, let's go.
They're cool, right?
Yeah.
They're cool, whatever.
Very cool.
But all I'm saying is they got to speak English. That's reasonable. That's a reasonable request.
I think that you should generationally absolutely be integrating English into the household if you move
And I don't think that's a bigoted statement on
I
my
don't
end.
think it is either.
I speak a little bit of Spanish.
My family did it. My family's all from, the Irish side spoke English, but like all the Italians came here, they didn't speak any fucking English. And then their fucking kids did. So yes, you should integrate that.
That's common. That's obvious, right? This goes without saying. But now it's a debated point of interest in American politics. So if you zoom out even further, Julian.
We're zooming out more.
We're zooming out even further. I think the biggest takeaway from all of these conversations is, what is America being treated like?
A condom?
Maybe like a prostitute.
Oh, okay. All right, same family.
It's being treated like a company, intended to maximize the profit of this land and to interchangeably insert a new class of slaves into the American labor supply as we see fit. So when we need new slaves, we can go bomb another country, destabilize some other place, import a bunch of these desperate people. They'll work for shittier conditions. The heritage Americans who have been here for generations are then undermined by this injection of a new supply of slave laborers, essentially. And then we have the secondary consequence, which is the cultural fabric of what it means to be an American is questioned and redefined and changes over time, I think.
What is the cultural fabric of being an American besides the fact that we're this beautiful experiment that was founded not long ago related to the rest of the world, and that we speak English, and that we believe in the American dream and a free society to go pursue what you want, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Besides those things, what is the fabric of American culture?
I'll answer it like this. I think what most people believe the American dream to be is to come to this place, get rich. Just make a bunch of money. I think it's all about money. I think most people have redefined what it means to be an American is a place where there's socioeconomic mobility. You can rise through this invisible caste system, right? There is no caste system. You can ascend. You can go from rags to riches. I think that is what most people think of when they say the American dream.
I think they've thought that forever. Yeah.
And I don't know if that is a good defining metric for what it means to live in a nation, for what it means to be an American.
Fair question.
The pursuit of economic riches, right?
When you put it just that way, it's like kind of tacky. You know
bad.
What I mean?
It's bad.
It's like, just come here, get money.
Because if it becomes difficult, if the times get tough, like we're seeing, let's say right now, young men feel as if they look at the 50-year mortgage Fannie Mae presents to them. Fuck, I'm never going to own a home. What's the point? They start quiet quitting. They're jerking off in the basement. They get no girls. Life is looking bleak.
Yeah.
There's no legitimate opportunity. You studied coding for 4 years at UC Berkeley. Your job gets replaced by an Indian.
Or AI now too.
And then AI replaces the Indians, but the Indians are still there.
Yeah.
What do we do, Julian?
Yeah, when you here's a really important thing. What you said there, you referred to it as you bring in a slave class that's going to work a lot more for a lot less that you can take advantage of because they're coming from a bad place, and now you get in here and you do what we tell you to do.
Sure.
This is where, when you talk about, you know, like the whole argument with people who are like, it's the close the border completely people and don't let anyone in versus like the open borders, welcome everyone.
Sure.
When I look at the welcome everyone people, I'm like, okay, you care about humanity and humanitarian issues, right? Yes, of course. All right. So shouldn't you care, for example, let me use an extreme example that happens a lot. Shouldn't you care when some of these people are being trafficked in here and
they don't give a fuck apparently.
Yeah, they don't.
Child slaves being brought in that disappear at the border, right?
That's what I'm saying. And what you're talking about is a lesser example of that. We're not talking about these slaves, but we're talking about like just people who are forced here to come to work for a lot less and have no rights and stuff like that. Well, shouldn't you care about that as a humanitarian issue too? And they're like, well, no, because it's a hard conversation to have. But that's what we do. That's what we're supposed to do in this country is have fucking hard conversations.
I agree. So let's examine it from a few different angles, right? The Indian immigrant in this example, because the gravitational pull here is bringing us towards Indians. So
I love India, by the way.
That's it. That's reasonable. And if they're such an economic asset to society, then they should aggrandize and uplift the nation of India, which has a lot of work to do. That's my position. And I think that's a pretty simple position.
Do you have that position for
why would they not be such an economic asset? No, we're only talking about Indians in this case because the H-1B program is top of mind right now.
Okay.
I see some of the political usurpation of power in countries like Canada. There's a lot of political representation in Canada, disproportionate to the amount of Indians that live in Canada. Indians are just everywhere, so that's why they come top of mind. Literally, I was in rural Japan. Guess who's working the 7-Eleven?
I mean,
Indians.
It's a 7-Eleven.
Guess who owns majority stake in 7-Eleven?
Indians?
This Indian billionaire named Ambani, I think.
Makes sense.
We need our guy here for that one.
He's coming back, but yeah.
If we take a 2-minute pee break, can we jump cut?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah?
All right, we'll be right back.
Is that okay?
Yeah,
all right.
Perfect. All right, we're back, Tyler. We were talking about the billionaire who owns.
We're talking about Umbani, Umbani, 7-Eleven billionaire. He's worth like $88 billion.
Oh, that's nice.
Not sure where I was going with Umbani, besides the fact that you'll find an Indian working a pretty servile job on any corner of the planet anywhere, in which they're not creating a plentiful, abundant life in the country they're working in. So let's take this 7-Eleven worker in Japan that I found. They're making enough to, I guess, make ends meet in this area of Japan, in the middle of nowhere, Japan. Fuji Yoshida, near Mount Fuji. Some random Indian immigrant is working at the 7-Eleven I met. Super cool person, for the record. This isn't an attack on Indians. I'm trying to have a conversation about the pros and cons of immigration for them, for India, and for the host country. Right. Super chill lady I met at the 7-Eleven in Fuji Yoshida, Japan. In the middle of nowhere, basically. Super rural. So she comes from Mumbai, I believe our conversation was, which I've been to. She comes from Mumbai. In Mumbai, 77,000-ish people per square mile live in this city. In the state of Texas, it's 110 people per square mile. So a shit ton of people live in Mumbai. Fact check me on that.
Yeah. What was the number in 77?
77,000 people per square mile is the population density, I believe, in Mumbai.
That's wild. Even higher.
It's gotten higher?
83,660.
Oh my God. And I believe the only other city that's worse off than that in terms of population density is, ironically, Tokyo. And Manila.
Tokyo is extreme. How many people are in Tokyo again? It's like fucking 27 million or something like that. Did I make that up?
I think you're right. That sounds about right.
Actually, no.
16.
Really? Okay. It's way that actually helps my point.
Still,
here,
that's a lot,
that's
though.
good.
But yeah.
Look at Manila. I think Manila's like 90,000 people per square mile.
Thrill in Manila.
Yeah. So point being, there's a shit ton of people in Mumbai. Ton of people, right? It's understandable this girl would want to get out of Mumbai.
Yeah.
And if she sends a fraction of what she's making in Japan, the arbitrage from so many people, dude.
120,000 people per square mile in Manila.
It's crazy.
Go ahead.
So, actually, we'll break this down even a bit further. So, Japan has an aging population and negative population growth.
Yeah, they're not fucking.
Sure, they're not fucking, and they're more importantly not having children, right? So, they're not getting to that 2.1 sweet spot replacement number, whatever the fuck.
Yes.
Allegedly.
But they're definitely not getting
Yeah, they're dying. They're going extinct. And they're being reconciled with an aging population, a rapidly aging population. So boomers right now all over the world are asking themselves, who's going to care for us?
Right.
If we don't have enough young people to care for us as we get old, then who's going to do it? So we start importing slaves from third world countries. Point being, Japan benefits in the short term by replacing what should be babies. Babies made from happy, loving families.
Yeah.
But the Japanese worked way too hard after World War II, rebuilding their country, working their asses off. Now they're in this position where kids are hopeless. They're not having, but when I say kids, I mean young adults are not having children needed to replace their dying population.
Yes.
So we import a bunch of Indians. The Indians, what is their upside in all this? The Indian immigrants working in Japan. They're away from their families. They're in a new land. Japan is notoriously or famously homogeneous. It's mostly Japanese, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a foreigner, who wants to be in Japan, let's say?
That's the part that's not clicking right now because I haven't been to Japan. Yeah. You have. But I've heard that like in Japan, they're very like, wait, who are you? When someone is not like them, you know what I mean?
For sure. That's a soft way of putting it.
Yeah.
Great place to visit.
I put it soft.
I think it's a brutal place to live, especially as a foreigner. So if you're an Indian immigrant like this girl who's super sweet, super cool lady, if you're watching this, why would you want to be in Fuji Yoshida is what I want to ask you.
Spicy tuna rolls? I don't know.
Do you think she wants to live there for the rest of her life?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
What do you think her ambition is in being in Fuji Yoshida?
To be able to make money to send home and also be able to then maybe take back home with her or go somewhere else?
Yeah, I would agree. That's generally the story I get from these people. The intention is oftentimes not to live there full time for the rest of their lives because it's a combination of a lot of these countries. don't necessarily want them there forever, and B, they don't want to be there forever. So what that leads to is they send money back to India in the form of remittances.
Yes.
Look up India 2024 remittances, what that number is. There's a historic amount of money that has been sent back to India.
We can measure this, too.
We can measure this. So there is a
$129 to $135 billion in 2024.
So that only represents like 3 to 4% of India GDP, apparently. You can fact check me on that as well.
Yeah, it's about.
So you'd say, okay, 3 to 4%, that's insubstantial. But if you're an economist, that's a substantial percentage of your economy. Look up what's a good year of economic growth in the United States. And what is considered a great year? I think it's like 0.3 or 0.4%. Something like super surprisingly insubstantial.
The best record year, it's like 3 or 4%, not point. But the best record year for U.S. economic growth was 21% with a 5.7% GDP increase. Yeah. So
5%
GDP
GDP
what you're talking about
Okay.
is like our total growth is, if we pulled up a chart of it, Thief, of like the last 20 years of GDP growth, you're going to see 1%, 5%, 4%, 3%. You know what I mean? It's all.
So the idea I'm getting at is there's a shit ton of money from all over the world basically being sent back to a country like India in the form of India says, we got a bunch of people, we're going to send them across the seas. Okay, they're not really saying this. Where I'm treating the Indian government like a human entity, right?
Right.
That's not the reality. Indians say, I want a better life. I want to make more money easily. So I'm going to attempt to be an immigrant, go elsewhere, work hard, send some of that money back home, go from there. So in the short term, we get our slave supply of labor. Some of these people stay. Some of these people make the United States of America their home, let's say, right?
Yeah.
Just like New York City. People come here, they want to live here, I'm sure. A lot of them.
Yeah.
But a lot of people want to work here and send money back home.
Sure.
Sure. So in the case of the H-1B visa system, for example, we basically don't end up giving American youth, who I would argue are qualified to work a lot of these jobs, the opportunity to work these jobs because there's infinitely more people across the planet that are willing to work shittier conditions.
Longer for less.
Longer for less. But there are social ramifications, and who really benefits? The American public doesn't benefit at large, is my argument. Social cohesion is lower. Culture splinters. These people self-segregate or are not accepted by the masses, and our GDP goes up. And we've been conditioned to believe GDP going up, good. Goes down, bad.
For who?
For who? So now we're being sold this narrative of we need to beat China in the AI race. Does it fucking matter? Because we're funding the automation of our existence with an imported class of engineers, apparently, that take jobs from Americans, inarguably, is my position. And then we'll then automate those jobs that have already been taken away from Americans that live here.
Yeah.
So what is the goal here?
Well, I do think so. Perfectly valid question. That is one huge part of it because it involves like the happiness of our society. So I don't want to be like, oh, that doesn't matter. It absolutely matters. But like on a separate issue as well, regardless of who the fuck is doing it, you do want to. I would be concerned if China won the AI race because as much as I have problems with people here in power, and trust me, I do. It's levels to this game.
The devil you know.
Yeah.
You're probably right, but it doesn't matter either way if it's going to happen, right? That's my question. I don't know. Because if I'm not even the guy working on the AI god they're building in Silicon Valley, that job's gone. Just didn't get hired, let's say. If I'm a young, aspiring computer tech whiz, there's an argument to be made that that guy would get the job, right? Meritocracy would prevail. I'm arguing this colorblind meritocracy doesn't exist in the ways we hope it would in certain industries. Maybe I'm wrong. So if I'm not building the AI God machine, and then my job gets automated the moment I do build the AI God machine, what is the point of risking the cultural continuity of our country and the social cohesion we aspire to have by injecting a bunch of people with totally different values, totally different worldviews, potentially different religions, totally different backgrounds altogether? I just don't understand the risk-reward ratio of this math. That's the question I want to present to the audience.
I think a big part of what you're getting at here that is absolutely valid is that there seems to be like, if you know that I forget what it's called, but the scale, right? That you see like with lawyers. The scale has been tilted so heavily to emphasize bringing in that talent to the point that it is costing so many people here the opportunity. If that scale were a little better, where you could have a balance of like, where there actually is real great talent that can come in here and not to work for less and for longer, by the way, work just like everyone else works. I don't know why that went off, sorry. But like if we actually knew that that was the case and there were balance so that there were more opportunity here as well, people would be okay with it. But if it's run out of control, people are now like, I don't know about that. Let's get rid of the whole system. And that's part of what you're arguing.
Well, Julian, what is your value as an American? What does it mean to be a resident of the United States of America? Should you be allowed to live here if you don't produce a sufficiently high enough GDP? If you don't add sufficiently more to the economy than the government desires, let's say, should you be allowed to live here? Because my position is that's kind of how we're treating human lives.
Right. I see what you're saying.
That if you cease to add sufficient economic value to our economy, you will be replaced by someone who will at whatever the cost. Even if that means that person is treated like a modern-day slave, has no personal connections in the new city they've moved to, has no family, their family's across the world, let's say.
That's actually the issue. Okay. All right, we haven't talked about that yet. So when people came here to Ellis Island, who were they coming with? They were coming with their whole fucking family and everything, or they were coming here to meet their family or whatever. You are absolutely right that there's a huge issue where you pluck some fucking 22-year-old from somewhere else, say come over here, and it's like they're an island. What do you expect to happen?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's difficult to fit in.
Yes.
You probably end up hanging with another ethnic group of people you're like who are also immigrants.
Yes.
So you end up isolated from the people you're supposed to be assimilating, melting into.
That's right.
It's probably tough to fit in just in general. And then you're probably sending a good portion of your money back home.
Sure.
So it almost appears like a modern form of nomadic, pastoral, nomadic, the guys who used to, back in the day, like Genghis Khan and his troops, the firstborn son would get all the wealth from the family.
Yeah.
And if you're secondborn or thirdborn, I think the whole MO, the main objective was to go and loot shit. What I'm saying is we're witnessing a more modernized form of looting shit. That people from other countries come to a country like ours, sometimes with no intention of staying here permanently, with none of their family here, let's say single men, and send a bunch of that money back home, while displacing ambitious American potential laborers from jobs they would otherwise work. And the corporations are cool with it because they get cheap labor out of it.
Right.
And they can just do the same shit next year.
Do it. Yeah, they're incentivized
make
to
some
do it.
weird labor deal with India next year. We've agreed to hire 1 trillion Indians.
That's how I would. That's what if I could wave my magic wand and fix something. That's how I would fix it. I would take away the economic incentive for them to do it. Meaning, I would, and this is where people gotta. There you have the people that are big government people, and then you have the people that are like no government people. And this is where the no government people have to understand this is why you would have a government where there actually could be something they do that's useful. And it's like if you could say, hey, you're bringing over people right now where they're working fucking 95 hours a week for, I'm going to use round numbers, $20 an hour, when you know that the minimum you can hire in America is to work for 70 hours a week at $30 an hour. Congratulations. You now can only have the people you bring in work 70 hours at $30 an hour.
Sure.
And you would watch the market fix itself there because, by the way, it's also way less of a to-do to hire someone here if it's the same time and the same amount of money and they have the ability to do it, which I know we have plenty of talent here that can do a lot of that stuff.
I would agree, right?
Yeah.
Do you know a lot of young people who feel some level of despondency or hopelessness?
Yes.
That have ambition, have work ethic, are smart, hopeful people that have lost that hope seemingly because they can't find a place in society?
I think you're one of the voices for them on the entire internet. I think you speak for them. You are.
I don't know if you're being facetious.
No. I'm dead serious.
Okay, all right.
You have 8.5 million subscribers on YouTube. You're 25 years old. We'll talk about your journey and stuff soon. But you are smack dab in the middle of that generation, the artist generation. Are you familiar with the fourth turning?
Yes, I've read like a third of the book.
Okay. You are is one of the greatest books ever written.
Prophet, Nomad, Hero, Artist, or something like that?
You got it.
Okay.
And they always exist in the same 4 regions, or in the same 4 types of eras,
Sure.
at the same 4, and in the same 4 types of the story. And the artists, which is purely Gen Z at this point, are always born into a crisis era. Like you were born in what, 2000?
2000, correct.
So your life is 9/11, the endless wars, the financial crisis, the political turmoil of the middle class being completely legislated away.
Me
and
Too,
COVID.
George Floyd, all that shit too.
There's no, fucking valleys and happiness like you see behind you right there. It's all complete and utter crisis. And as a result of what has been happening in the crisis that is still going on in society, we are seeing the older parts of Gen Z come of age now in their mid-20s into their late 20s. And they're like, what the fuck? I went to school. They made me sign something when I was 17. I got $120,000 in fucking debt with a gender studies degree. I'm making $50K a year. In fact, I have a second job at Starbucks, and people are coming in on an H-1B visa and taking fucking jobs and being paid at low labor, but they're sending enough home that their family's happy. What the fuck happened?
And I disagree though, because a lot of these kids got practical degrees in, let's say, engineering. Those are the guys that got fucked. These are the guys who did it by the book. The gender studies is funny for jokes and shit, but legitimately, a lot of these guys are the ones who did it by the book. They got the most practical degree. They're getting fucked.
That's right.
So what do you do with a bunch of disaffected young men who have no wife, have no children, have no job? Where does that energy go?
Not in a good place.
Goes somewhere dangerous, right?
Yeah.
Probably. We'll see. Maybe nowhere. Maybe the generation has no fun.
It's never nowhere.
It's got to manifest itself somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So we've rattled on a lot about the Indians because it's somewhat funny because we went to the poop throwing festival and then we talked about cultural differences and religious differences and then mass migration and the H-1B exploitation. And I think it's important to consider the fact that we should be doing everything that puts young people in a position to have an important, meaningful role in society.
Yes.
That's all I'm getting at.
I agree.
Okay.
I think especially and it is different. There's problems. These problems are downstream and affect both genders, to be clear, but there is some social differences with men especially who are expected to go out there and make money and have purpose and be a man and get shit done and whatever. And when those opportunities are being waned away, it does turn into a disaffection, which turns into anger and turns into other things. I mean, you can see it even with some of the extreme examples where, there's someone I'm not even talking about like the high school kids. I'm talking about like the Blackstone shooter or something like that. I think he was in his late 20s. He was like 27, 28, where it's like you're not even 30 and you feel like your life's over. And that's crazy. It's crazy. It's
How old are
crazy.
you?
I'm 32.
Okay. You're a young man too, right?
Yeah.
We're all young. Mm-hmm. We don't want our world to be fucked. And we want India to thrive too. But we need to clean our shit up first before we worry about injecting a shit ton of Indians into the United States.
Right.
And it's a difficult sell for me to get behind that somehow injecting a bunch of Indians into our tech industry or giving them 70% of the H-1B visa will magically cure all of our problems. Yeah. Or just in general, immigration at scale. I don't see who benefits besides greedy corporations to inject the country with a new rotation of slave labor every decade. I just don't get it.
We've been talking about H-1B, which is actually like a legal form of it that just has a fucked up runaround.
Yeah.
When you get into like the illegal immigration and the broken system that we set up for people, obviously we gave the extreme examples that are far too rampant of literally like fucking trafficking and shit like that, and then you never see people again. But when it got, that was the biggest problem with Biden's presidency. When you totally open up the fucking borders and you have no idea who's coming in, and people now come in here and they literally do become slaves, whether it's the extreme example or, going to work for someone and they have no papers, and then you don't know who they are, you don't know where they're at, they are not in a position to be able to assimilate with people. Yeah, it's not the American dream. That's not how it was drawn up at all.
Sure. I don't know what to do with another important point is the whole idea of, let's say, agricultural laborers. I grew up in Modesto, California. It's in the Central Valley of California.
What's that close to? Is that
San Francisco, I guess. Sacramento, about an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
2 to 3 hours in bad traffic.
Okay.
San Francisco is probably the closest major city. It's about 6 or 7 hours south is Los Angeles, though.
Got it. Yeah. Salinas Valley.
Central Valley. Modesto, California. Yeah.
It's all the same shit to us
close
fucking
enough.
Jersey people.
Yeah, George Lucas is from there.
Okay. All right. That's a
Point
flex.
being, there's a lot of Mexicans that work agricultural jobs there, legal or illegal. So that's an instance in which I see we have a bunch of Americans who already live here. That would probably be a good scenario to have a bunch of robots. So you don't have some poor Mexican dude who illegally crossed the border ingesting a bunch of pesticides to give us some carrots or almonds. So I don't see the net benefit for the Mexican guy coming over here, poisoning himself, working in the fields illegally, getting paid shit on the dollar. Well, the benefit is he sends money back home, potentially.
Or gets away from the cartels. But yeah.
Do you really think it's that common, though, for every single dude we see in the fields to be hunted by the cartel?
No.
I just don't think it's as common as the stories that are being sold, I think, are extremely uncommon and false.
It's not like that. No.
Okay. But we get our cheap products. Shit's not even cheap anymore. So I'm no economist, but who's making all the money here? Because the groceries are expensive, right?
Yeah.
The eggs got more expensive.
The eggs are fucking whoa.
So the immigrants keep coming in. The prices keep going up. We haven't even talked about housing. There's a legitimate impact of importing more people on the demand of housing.
Explain this.
Apparently, as we've seen, if you inject a shit ton of people from all over the world into the United States of America, you have limited housing. You have boomers who want to increase red tape, make it difficult to build more housing. So let's say there's a finite supply of housing. Basic supply and demand would argue that the demand goes up, the supply remains the same, prices go up. You combine that with Blackstones, who will buy these single-family homes, and then you have this artificial increase in the price of housing. That's how I see it.
By the way, that was what was interesting about, and we haven't heard anything about that since, but the woman who was shot at Blackstone and killed, not her fault, it was her job, but she worked. Can we pull it up, Dave?
I'm like, yeah.
She worked in the department and was a major figure in the department that is effectively buying up.
That should be illegal, right? That's a pretty easy government intervention.
Up. Yeah, Wesley LePatner, 43-year-old senior executive at Blackstone, was killed in the mass shooting.
I see.
She was a highly respected executive and mentor. Doesn't list what her job is here, but that you guys can go look it up.
Okay, it's like a Luigi Mangione situation, but for Blackstone.
Kind of.
Because most people say BlackRock, but BlackRock is publicly traded. We probably all have a little bit of exposure to BlackRock if you have any investment in the stock market.
Right.
And an index fund. But Blackstone is private equity purchasing family homes, sometimes converting these family homes into multi-resident, big apartments, basically, right?
And then renting them.
Sure. So you can be a perma-renter, and you can never own a home. So you can always work until you die.
That's right.
And then you can compete even harder for your shitty job once 10,000 Indians enter your hometown.
That's right.
But you get tikka masala.
You get tikka masala?
You get tikka masala, Julian.
Yeah. It's a good trade.
It's not, though. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. That's where I'm at with this. And I'm not an expert. We're just ranting here.
Yeah.
We're jumping left and right. The trade doesn't seem to be worth it, right? Unfettered corporate greed, right? I'm not a socialist. I'm no communist.
Right.
But it seems like the corporations are calling the shots here. And there are some crazy consequences to young people especially.
Yes. I would agree with that. I think, that's the strange thing about our system. I've talked about this with a few people before. But the buck stops somewhere. And it stops on a range. Like if you could draw a line, you have the government and you have corporations. And it's going to lean one way or the other.
Sure.
Or ideally, it's somewhere right in the middle, and you're still not going to like certain things about that. But we have a strange system where corporations pay the governments, who then control the corporations.
Yep.
And if they're not paying enough, have more control. Or if they're paying too much, have less control.
So it's not real capitalism. There is no invisible hand.
That's right.
These are artificial monopolies at play. These companies are creating
a lot of
political relationships required to maximize their profit.
Yeah,
to defeat competitors that would exist.
Yeah,
to entrench themselves in blue oceans, right?
Yes, I would amend that just to say I would not whitewash that across the board and say that's all of them or anything.
Of course,
but we see systems
You're
where,
a small business. I'm a small business.
Yeah, but let's even look at big companies. Is there a crossing point where a company gets so big that inevitably it becomes a part of that? Yes, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and even more so,
a lot of them.
These companies buy influence in the government that dictate the law that allow them to usurp more influence and profit, right? Mm-hmm. And then we get fucked when you're trying to buy a house with a 50-year mortgage, so it seems. So I don't know where we're going with this, but yeah.
Well, what the overall point here has been the fact that there's basically been a legislating or attituding, I'll make up a word, away of the opportunity for the incoming generation, which is going to create... Look, everything is downstream from economics, okay? It's cultural, it's sociocultural, it's pop cultural, it's all of it. You look around, you see drab art is in. It's because people are fucking sad, bro, right? Like, you look around, you see people not having kids because people don't have the fucking money to have kids.
Sure.
You look around, you see people that don't have fucking hope. They take it out some way and they walk around, they complain about the man. And I get it. You know what I mean? And then it has political manifestations on both sides. That is what happens when you fuck over the economy. Steven Pinker had an unbelievable chart in the book Enlightenment Now, which I actually love the premise of that book because he's pointing out that like society doesn't move like that. But I can prove, he's saying, I can prove mathematically across all these different variables that since the beginning of human civilization, we continually live in the best time to exist. And he's 100% right.
Sure.
Doesn't mean you don't have short-term problems where you take a little step back and stuff. And one of the things that he has a huge fucking
racist jokes, homophobic jokes, and they've gone down, which means life's getting better, right?
Yeah, these are real charts.
They're about to go. Woo!
These are real charts. Just pulling it up. But I'm saying there's one chart that he has that's the scariest chart of all.
Tell me.
Yeah, if you listen to this episode, it's not.
Tell me.
But there's one chart that's the scariest to me, which is since the very beginning of the 1980s.
All right.
You have seen the wealth gap go like this.
Sure.
Right? And the smaller and the percentage of people on the upswing is smaller and smaller as well over time while getting more and more and more. And that is the shit, that is the kind of pattern you see. Elites, smaller group of elites, and the everyman that ends every kind of empire. And that scares me a lot.
So theoretically, right? If there's a couple trillionaires that exist, but we all benefit if we're well fed, we have nice, happy, meaningful lives, we have recreation time, we have a beautiful wife.
You will have nothing and you will be happy.
But we don't have these things, right? So life has improved on paper, you said, right? Compared to every generation prior? Has it?
No, what I'm saying is overall human history on the average is still at its best point, but
what's our metric for good? What is our metric?
What he's saying is that, for example, because that book came out in 2018.
Okay.
Pre-COVID, right?
Got it.
I would say right now is one of those periods where we've taken a step back. It's not quite the best time. Like right now is not as good as it was in 2019. Period. End of story. Right? But in 2032, it might be better than it was.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying?
It's got to push through this.
Yes.
This hump.
I don't want to oversimplify it, but yes.
We hit this AI inflection point, then we all become tiny gods and live in infinite resource. Because that's totally how it'll go, right?
That's not how I think it'll go, but...
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So if I had access to all the bandwidth of the super god AI machine, I'm probably going to use a lot of it for myself if I'm Sam Altman, right? Why would I give that to you? I would sell you a sliver of it for infinite money.
Yeah.
If I could.
Yeah.
Do we even need this AI god is a better question, right? Do we want this god? Is this Pandora's box?
It very well could be Pandora's box. The thing about all technology throughout human existence, though, is that it will happen. There's never been the Luddite saying, fuck it, let's not do it. Whoever wins out, someone will do it. So you have to adjust to it as it happens.
That's an argument.
All right. What's the argument?
No, I mean, that is an argument you've presented. What's the Unabomber?
Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah, Ted Kaczynski's his argument is all of this has gone too far, right? Yeah. We've deprived human beings of their natural meaning and purpose, and we pursue surrogate interests. Is that the argument he used? Like podcasting or YouTubing. We're trying to create this meaning that we've been deprived of due to rapid industrialization
that
of society.
Sounds familiar. That sounds about like
his argument. This guy's a terrorist, right? His argument is destroy that system, revert back to. I'm actually not entirely positive, but
can we check that? But I that sounds familiar.
A more simple way.
That's what it was. He was like, let's go backwards a little bit. We've done too much.
Sure.
I hope that is the Unabomber, right?
That's the Unabomber for sure.
That sounds right. He moved to the woods and all that.
He moved to the woods. He wants to revert to a more I don't know what his reversion goal there was. If it's hunter-gatherers.
Right. But that's not going to happen.
Oh, you don't think that's possible?
I don't think it's possible unless there were, an extinction event or something like that where it's not a choice. It becomes that because the next generation's like, wait, what was before us?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Like the Roman Empire fell, right? And we lost technology that's never been rediscovered, allegedly.
And that's not even an extreme example. That's a simple example because we kept a lot of it, right? But like the Younger Dryas happens. Who the fuck knows what happened before that?
Sure.
You might have had Atlantis right on the front end of that. Gone.
Sure.
They could have had something better than an iPhone for all I know.
Sure.
I don't think they did, but maybe.
It's like, so if you look up, and I'm going to butcher this, but I've been to Teotihuacan in Mexico.
Yeah.
These Mexican pyramids.
Yes. My friend Luke Caverns has been there.
Okay, he's been there.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on this, keep in mind, but they discovered this shit. The Aztecs, I believe. The people who lived there discovered it from a previous group of people that lived there.
Yeah.
Okay, they showed up to this shit and it was there.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is ours now.
Mm-hmm.
Who built it?
Not them.
Not them.
Yeah.
I think some of this is we literally don't know who, or maybe it's some. The point being, a group of people showed up to this. It's more advanced than what they're capable of. We have no trace of who existed there prior to that, from my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, here's the civilization we just walked into.
Yep.
They live there like it's theirs. And then, people visit it as a tourist destination. But all of this technology, all of this innovation, seemingly out of thin air. We have no clue who did it. Just like the Egyptian pyramids, of course.
I mean, you're taking the words out of my mouth. Sure.
All of this shit's that's just there. It's for us. People showed up to it. We have no clue how it got there. I don't know where I'm going with this. We're talking about AI, technology.
Well, there's actually a thread I want to pull
an extinction event. These people have disappeared, basically, but left behind
Yep.
all this stuff that other people stumbled upon, claimed it as theirs, use it day to day. That's the idea I was going for.
Yeah. I actually just had Dr. David Kipping sitting there, and he's the head of Cool Worlds at Columbia, astrophysicist, genius guy, and really looks at things like from a sober perspective, which I like that. But he was like, dead seriously supports the idea of using the moon as a place for us to go like bury a pyramid or something like that for some future civilization a fucking gazillion years from now, because he was explaining why it could last the best on the moon and why we won't be around in general by the time they get here based on the mathematical probabilities of them, if he's looking at that civilization, to be able to get here. So he's like, you would do it with a pyramid. So like Earth is a terrible place to put a pyramid, but maybe they didn't do it that long ago in relation to the galaxy. I don't fucking know.
The Egyptians claim that shit like it's their own. They definitely didn't do it.
I think I'm with you. I don't know how the fuck they got those stones there, bro.
They can't explain the engineering. They can't explain how they got the stones up. None of it's explainable.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Someone else did it.
I'm with you.
No, I'm pretty sure this is a fact that the Egyptians showed up to the pyramids. Actually, this is definitely disputed.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure they claim otherwise, but
they shouldn't, though. They want the tourist money, of course. By the way, that place is full of scammers.
Oh, in Egypt?
My God, bro.
Really?
Yes. All sorts of hustlers trying to finagle you out of a couple bucks.
I mean, I've seen you do it in Rome, Barcelona, and all. I haven't seen the one in Egypt.
I have not filmed in Egypt. I've been to Egypt.
That's why.
Just to look at the pyramids and confirm it was not, in fact, made by Egyptians and then leave, which offended many people.
Well, listen.
Unsurprisingly.
That's okay.
But we know they didn't do it.
We
so
know
cool.
they didn't do it. I'm very comfortable with that as well.
Okay, good.
The scammer videos, though, by the way, I loved it. I lived in Rome when I was in college, so I knew exactly the people you were looking at there and what they do. Now, you were filming like by the Colosseum.
By the Colosseum.
With a lot of that. Did you go to like Trastevere where the pickpockets are and everything?
Yes. Did not find any pickpockets.
You didn't?
No.
Oh, those motherfuckers
Actually, I'm trying to think.
Good.
No, okay, we did. We found some female pickpockets in the subway station.
Oh,
Pregnant pickpockets. That's the meta now. That's the newest update.
Oh, wow.
Get pregnant, be a woman. You're unlikely to get attacked by someone you rob.
Yeah, but like if you bump into someone, you might bump the baby. You know, like that's a part of a pickpocket. You got to bump.
I agree.
It's a big risk.
I'm with you, man. Yeah. But the guys impregnating these women don't give a fuck. Get a couple of these girls pregnant, throw them on the streets, have them steal some shit. No one's going to hit them.
Yeah.
It's good business.
Yeah, you got in some fights out there too, like and the cops weren't coming to
I've
help
never
you?
thrown a punch.
Really?
I've never thrown a punch.
I'm actually shocked.
I've thrown a push here and there, pushed a guy once. Never thrown a punch though.
In your life?
I got chased, honestly, in a real fight, no.
Wow.
Never been punched in the face either.
Good for you.
Knock on wood.
Go to India a couple more times. I feel like it's coming.
I'll fight an Indian. I feel pretty confident with my odds, although I did see some mega chads in the village. Some big, strong dudes. I was impressed. You guys are chads.
Yeah, dude. There's some strong Indians, for sure.
My beef with these scammers, Julian, is that these people show up to foreign lands, prey upon the kindness of tourists and locals, try to emotionally manipulate you. They have families overseas. They add no value to the economy in any meaningful way. And when they don't get what they want, sometimes they get violent. They see a camera. Sometimes they just fucking attack you.
I agree.
Those people deserve to get humbled.
I think it's I love the exposing it because I thought it was like one of the lowest things ever. You know,
low hanging fruit.
Oh
right?
yeah, and the people in Rome fucking hated it more than anyone. It was like this, you know. It is a definition of taking complete advantage of the situation, for sure.
Which is funny, right? These are the ones we can kind of go after. You know, one of these guys gets beaten down by a bodyguard posse, let's say, of mine. But, you know, the bankers printing imaginary money, destroying civilization.
Can't go after
Can't touch those guys.
Can't talk to them.
Yet.
They got power.
They got power. We'll get sniped. We'll die. Untouchable. But yeah, scammers are bad people as well.
Do you think that
scammers are different degrees, right?
I look at the internet like this, right? So internet 2.0 is essentially social media, right? And you could argue the 3.0 thing, I haven't even like looked at how they're defining that, but I would imagine it's metaverse AI, right? Whatever, the combination. But internet 2.0 is still very much here in that it's the social media era. So if you discount MySpace for a second and look at Facebook as like the real dawn of that, you're thinking 06, 07 is when it really went mainstream. Okay. We are at the end of 2025. That means that regardless of whether or not it's your 85-year-old grandma using Facebook or your 20-year-old cousin using it, everyone's the same age in the internet. You see what I'm saying? They've all been using it for 20 years.
This is true.
So the tool, we are in college right now as far as maturity goes with how to deal with a tool like this. And I would even argue it's probably less than that because it didn't become like a mainstream, like actually affecting how people talk with each other thing until probably deeper into Obama's presidency. So we're talking over the last 10, 15 years is when it really exploded. So do you think that because now we're starting to get farther along with it, the whole like powerful people being able to hide behind their powerful seats and, you know, murk anyone that they don't like who gets in their way is now not going to be possible with the Tyler Oliveiras of the world running around to fucking 10 million subscribers and saying, hey, guys, look at this?
This is an interesting question because I do think the technocratic elite, the guys who own these social media platforms at the end of the day, as we saw in COVID, absolutely have a say in what's allowed to be discussed and own and control the algorithms and can pull levers and push levers and present to the world what they want to be seen. You'll remember in COVID, you could not mention COVID on YouTube.
Right.
That was unspeakable.
Unspeakable.
Take a guy like Sneeko, for example. He was taken off of YouTube for COVID misinformation.
Yes.
Allegedly. But I'm pretty sure he was literally right about everything he brought up at the time. I could be wrong on this. I don't know the exact nature of his case.
He was probably more right than wrong.
I'm pretty sure he was right about everything that was presented, and he was taken off the platform. He's been brought back since. So we've seen an example of blatant censorship, blatant information manipulation, and they got away with it. Yeah, sorry, we were wrong.
Yes.
Uncensored. You're good to talk about it now, a couple years later. So you just do that with anything. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Pick your topic, right?
I'm sitting here with someone who is one of the few people in the world who went to Epstein Island not to do...
And did not molest children.
Right.
Yeah.
Not to do the thing.
Yes.
To actually investigate it.
Correct.
How the fuck did you get on that thing again?
We rented jet skis in the Virgin Islands. Pulled up there.
I just picture you in a room pitching this. It's the movie Hitch, but Epstein Island.
So what's crazy about this, Julian, is that you're not that far from the main island. Little St. James is not too far away from where everyone else lives on the Virgin Islands. This is the Virgin Islands, right?
It sounds right, yeah.
That's fucked up. The naming is truly fucked. This world is fucked, man. Oh my God, if you were brought to these islands, that was taken from you though, because this is a sick, sick place run by sick, evil people. The point I'm trying to present though is that you can see the island. There were several people chilling in boats not too far from the island with the temple, with all the Epstein shit.
Scary.
You can see it.
Yeah.
So if there was some evil shit going down there, you got to wonder how many people saw it, or if it's happening inside the island, beneath the building itself, or inside, covertly inside these buildings.
How big is that one building, the temple?
Not that big.
Approximately.
Maybe,
I was going to say.
Maybe your apartment.
Yeah.
But the island's pretty big.
Right.
You got to run around there. The security guards are operating in golf carts. It's pretty expansive. It's not huge, but...
When was this? 2022?
2023?
2023.
And at that time, it had passed ownership to another billionaire.
Yeah, who was it, an Australian guy that bought it?
You're probably right.
I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
A Goldman guy. You've been to the house on 71st, right?
No.
Really? No. I'll take you there sometime.
Yeah?
I take people all the time.
What is it?
It's 9 East 71st Street. So if you're looking at this picture right here, it's like right over here. But a Goldman Sachs guy bought that and did a physical and spiritual remodeling of it.
That's kind of what they did with Epstein, apparently.
Yeah.
Or Epstein's Island.
Yeah.
They sold it to another billionaire. It has security on there still, as of the time I went. And I think they're turning it into a museum or something dark now.
Oh, there was something fucked up. Can we Google that, Deef? What are they turning Epstein Island into? It's like a resort.
Yeah, which is fucked.
Yeah.
Which is some weird tourist activity right there.
Yeah,
if you're showing up for that.
No, this is where you do a nuclear test. Like, this is the
spot. Yeah, I agree. It's like perma.
All right, so the buyer is Stephen Dekoff, founder of the private equity firm Black Diamond Capital Management.
Oh, great.
Acquired the island for $60 million in May 2023.
At the Virgin Islands, yeah, okay.
Yep, in the U.S. Virgin Islands. He wants to purge the land of its grim past with SD Investments, where they plan to develop a world-class 5-star luxury 25-room resort.
Come on, man. People are fucked, man.
Steven.
Who would want to buy that? You got all the money in the world. You want to go buy Jeffrey Epstein's island?
I would never. I mean, I never would have in the first place, because I don't know what I wouldn't want. Even if I had all the money in the world, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I would want to do with an island. I like being around people, but like, especially after this, who the fuck wants to buy an island anywhere? Like, also, I say this one all the time. I've never been on a private jet. Have no plans to. I don't know whose fucking jet I'm getting on.
I've never been on one either.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, now I will sit in commercial. If I get invited on a private jet, fuck it, I'll take American Airlines, no problem.
That'd be great.
But I'm like, whose jet are you getting on sometimes?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are people who got on his jet and they're like, who the fuck was this guy?
Diddy fled on his jet too, I think.
Well, that would be someone who got on there and probably partook in the activities.
Probably so.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of guilty people that did it.
Speaking of partaking in Epstein activities, did you hear about Trump holding Bill Clinton's cock? Allegedly.
Yeah, what was my text exchange with Danny Jones?
I don't know if that's real. I think it is. I've been on the road driving to meet you here in beautiful, I can say Hoboken.
Yes.
It's not top secret. All right.
Yes. What did Danny Jones say to me? He was fucking
This is weird, man.
He just sent me a bunch of texts. He's like, "You think Bill was tapping it on the tongue?" And then he's like, "Do you think there was eye contact?" I'm like, "Danny Jones, I do not want to talk about this right now."
That's a crazy way to put it.
Yeah, listen, eye contact and tongue tapping's crazy, but what was it? It was Mark Epstein, his brother, who allegedly didn't talk with Jeffrey much. We're finding out that's not true.
Yeah,
but like he's on an email chain with Jeffrey, and I want to say like March 2018, they're going back and forth about Trump, and he mentions something offhand about Putin having pictures of Trump blowing Bubba, and Bubba's
allegedly
was Clinton's nickname, and that is like kind of confirmed. Now, are they bullshitting there to fuck around, or like?
That's a bold claim, right? To just throw out there without. I don't know how you go about verifying that without video. Unfortunately, we're in the AI times, right? We can't even trust videos anymore.
You can't.
But that's a crazy headline. Donald Trump blowing Bubba message and Epstein emails. So it's like, when you're a kid, I live in the greatest country in the world. America's awesome, which it is. And then you get a little older and you're like, damn, we're ruled by a bunch of old pedophiles. Like, what the fuck's going on here? And I don't know the exact nature of Trump's relationship with the Epstein stuff. There's something there, right? There's something.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but there's...
that was actually...
And where are the files, by the way? That's crazy.
That's a separate question. That's equally and actually more important. But I had always defended some aspects of Trump with relation to this because of some of the things that like Brad Edwards, the lawyer for a lot of the victims, had said about his help.
Yeah.
Because of the falling out he did have that's on record with Jeffrey Epstein, though the reason for that is disputed.
I see.
That said, there's a woman named Maria Farmer. You ever see her? She was a victim.
Okay.
So... You remember the Netflix documentary like 5 years ago?
Yes, I watched that.
Okay. Remember the woman who painted the mural of all the lizard people?
Okay.
That's Maria Farmer.
Whoa.
So
I know the woman who died by suicide recently, Virginia
Robert Schufrat.
And she got in a major car accident right before that too.
Yes.
Few near-death experiences, and then she killed herself, even though she said she would never kill herself.
Now, it looks awful.
It's fucked up.
And that's where my thought went. I do have to at least say this because this did get ignored. She may very well.
Yeah,
it may be dirty, and she may have committed suicide. Sure. That said, Tara Palmieri, who's a reporter who was good friends with Virginia Robert Schufrat and did some serious podcasts with her back in the day, investigative, going to these people's doors and shit.
Respect, yeah.
Virginia had confided in her towards the end of her life that her husband beat the shit out of her.
Got it.
And there were pictures of it. Tara, as a friend, kept that in confidence. And then a month after Virginia's death, the family of Virginia was releasing some pictures. So Tara then came out and said, and this didn't get a lot of attention, but she said on Twitter, she said, okay, seeing as Virginia is dead and her family has now released some pictures, including ones where she was beat the shit out of, she's like, I do feel like I can say this now. I had kept this in confidence, but her husband did beat the shit out of her, and that needs to be talked about. Like,
yeah, that's
it's
fair.
possible.
If that's real, that's fucked up, and that's
however,
a shitty life. Yeah,
there are a lot of people that I can't say have husbands that beat the shit out of them who convenently die.
We're never going to be able to prove what's real or fake. The Epstein stuff is crazy though, because if you remember, they gave the folders to some notable like Twitter journalists. Libs of TikTok infamously has a photo of her smiling.
God. Yeah,
she's cheese ear to ear.
Yeah,
that's fucked up.
The binders is fucked up. Yeah,
the binder. Yeah, smiling. Here we have all the victims' information. Cheese, and then it never came out, from my understanding, and we still have no clue what's going on. And Trump, I think, called it a Democrat hoax.
I do have to say this because I call it every which way. I take my job seriously when it comes to like the journalism aspect of like, just what are the facts? What can we see? First of all, they're hiding a lot of facts from us, so there's shit we can't see. But
and they claim it's for our own interests, right?
Oh God, his behavior since April of this year, as it pertains to the Epstein files.
Sure.
I don't know that there's a high-powered defense attorney in America who, if you asked him off record about guilty behavior, would not say, there's your example right there. Him calling it a Democratic hoax, he just turned on Marjorie Taylor Greene.
I saw that.
Marjorie Taylor Greene used to wear her fucking mask when they were forced to do that to Congress with his name on her mouth.
Sure.
You know, like...
Oh, did Tommy G interview her? He had some pretty interesting interviews with some political figures.
No, it was with Nancy Mace.
Okay.
He interviewed Nancy Mace, who actually did, I believe she was one of the people who voted to release it, by the way. I haven't heard about blowback on her
Which is a very easy, shouldn't be a partisan issue to vote on, right? Just release the files.
Agreed. Now,
why would we not benefit from understanding what went down there, right? Clear the air if there's nothing there.
It's because, I mean, the obvious point is because of all the intel implications, and they're fucking knee deep in it, and it's not just our country.
Sure. And then there's the Mossad relationships.
100%.
Did you know that some of the textbooks you and I both probably grew up on were owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's father?
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
He owned Macmillan and all that, yeah.
How deep does it go?
He also was one of the people that was like involved in like creating some of the peer review process, I believe, but we got to double check that.
He's a scholar now too.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work on Maxwell. He's an interesting cat. Do you know that motherfucker?
Sure.
He grew up in the middle of Europe speaking nothing but maybe it was Czech and Yiddish, maybe whatever the languages were. He left at 17. Didn't speak a word of English. 17 years old, goes to Britain, and he was a terrible guy, but this is like an unbelievable talent he pulled off. Within a couple years, not only did he speak English without an accent of any kind, which is unheard of.
Okay.
He spoke the king's English, so he spoke like the royals, where he'd be like yes, which is like it's extremely difficult, literal physical mouth movements from someone who doesn't speak English.
Sure.
And then he was a spy for the rest of his life, and like a very fucked up person. But like the level of talent as a fucking spooky individual, if you will, that he had is pretty unreal.
Yeah, so, you've got to have incredible code shifting abilities.
Oh,
I'm sure.
Yeah. Unreal.
And speaking of, I guess, pedophile rabbit holes and allegations. Are you familiar with the New York tunnels, the Jewish tunnels beneath the synagogue?
Alessi, my head of content, who used to be the producer right here as well, he actually went and investigated that and went into the tunnels.
Did he get in?
Yeah.
He got in?
Yeah.
Any findings?
He actually was kind of disappointed.
Okay, so I went there. I was in New York when it all broke, and it was all sealed off. No one could enter. And the Hasidic Jews I spoke to were telling me like, oh, it's nothing.
Yeah.
And then that kind of got memory hold, and no one ever talked about it again.
It was
And
sketchy.
they sealed it with cement.
I'm
they filled the shit. The tunnels are gone, from my understanding.
Are they gone? That's interesting.
From my understanding, well, you remember the beginning of this too, though, right? Was the guy who said he heard, I think, people speaking Yiddish beneath his house.
Oh, that was one of the best tweets of all
Isn't that
time.
crazy?
He sends a tweet out like 8 months before, and he goes, guys, I'm not a racist. Please just hear me out. I swear to God, there are Jews below my basement. People are like, you racist piece of shit.
Sure.
Whatever. And then it comes out and he retweets it, and they're like, I'm sorry.
And they said it was for something innocuous. I mean, I don't know what we would need the tunnels for, but what does it say? A group of yeshiva students
I wonder if we
attempted
could
to protect. I'm pretty sure they filled it up, though, and it's no longer... Whatever hole was there is inaccessible.
Can you pull up, Deef, can you pull up Alessi's channel and type in Alessi Alaman?
Props to that guy if he was in there. That's crazy work.
Brooklyn tunnels. He's not going to answer right now, but I would love it because he actually like went in them, I think.
And his name is Alessi. He's Jewish. He's from New York?
No.
Oh,
No, Alessi Alaman. He's a Cuban.
Oh, he's a Cuban.
He's Cuban, Norwegian, Black, Chinese.
Wow.
And one other thing's in there.
Okay, so he's not like a Hasidic Jew who's like, "Hey guys, there's nothing here." Okay,
no.
Okay, that gives him more credit.
No, he's like he's like a big God guy, like a Jesus guy.
Got it. So he was concerned.
Yeah, do we got it? It was an old one. Go all the way down.
Interesting.
It was one of the first ones he did, where he goes. Oh, it should be like you just passed it. Go down. It should be right in there. Is that the one with the tunnel? See him talking to the.
No, it's asking who they're voting for.
Damn it. Yeah, he did one, and he went. He didn't answer. I tried to FaceTime him, but
sure.
Yeah, it was weird.
It's unusual, right?
The whole thing was unusual.
The nature of how they presented the information of why it existed in the first place, the speed at which it was filled.
Yeah.
I was there actually for a different video where I hung out with some Hasidic Jews.
Doing
while
what?
I was filming.
Real estate?
Say that one more time.
Were you doing real estate with them or what? I mean, that's what they do.
That's hilarious. I don't know what it was. I think I was just hanging out inside one of their big synagogues, just vibing with them, asking them questions. And I was walking on the street, just chilling, talking to my guy. He's like a cultural guide, like a guy who you'd hire to learn about the Hasidic Jews for the day. I'm like, hey, man, we want to do this video. Can you tell us about what it means to be a Hasidic Jew? And then we went to Dearborn. So we juxtaposed the two locations. This is during the beginning of, I guess, American rhetoric surrounding Gaza and Israel. And I was like,
what a juxtaposition.
So we had both of them, Dearborn and Williamsburg?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, in the same video. And I'm walking on the street. By the way, these guys gifted me one of the hats.
Oh, the big block ones.
I have one. Yeah, he gifted me one.
Yeah, they're kind of baller.
They're crazy hats. Yeah. It's like a super premium hat. I was like, whoa. Not a kippa. Not a kippa.
Right, no. You're talking about like the block, like, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
He gifted me one of those hats, one of the entrepreneurs who sells these hats. But I was walking on the street with my guide. A guy comes up to me. He says he's the public relations officer of the synagogue, and he's just checking in to ask me what I'm doing with the camera. They got like secret police out there. This guy ran up to me. He's like, what are you doing with the camera? What's the narrative? You know, I'll give him benefit of the doubt. He's like, oh, you know, there's, of course, you can imagine what he said. Just take a guess.
A lot of anti-Semitism.
Bingo! Yep, yeah. That exact term he said. You know, there's a lot of anti-Semitism lately. Just making sure what you're doing. I'm like, well, thanks for checking in, man. But I'm an American. We're doing some documentary work here. I'm gonna walk around and do whatever I want. But you know, thanks.
Right.
I show up the next day to the synagogue again with my guy. The guy runs out of the synagogue and he finds me again. The same guy is making sure the optics look good. And I was that I did not like. I did not like the nature of the influence he tried to have over my what I believe to be fair and unbiased coverage of whatever we're talking about. Also pedophiles. Bohemian Grove. So I snuck into Bohemian Grove, obviously after Alex Jones. I ran in there. Tried to get as much footage as possible.
While they were having dinner and shit in front of the owl?
Not during the actual celebration itself. I just wanted to get as much coverage of the property. Shined my flashlight, got chased by a dude. And a little chihuahua chased me out of there.
A chihuahua?
A chihuahua. I thought it was a pit bull or something. It was a cute little chihuahua.
Did you like hit it? Or?
Just chased me down. And I jumped over the fence and dipped out of there.
What the fuck is a chihuahua going to do to you?
I don't know. So I went to this. This is kind of an interesting point too. I'm trying to tie it into the idea of if we know of a place that's supposed to be notorious or infamous for all these evil acts, my question is if a guy like me can run in there with the camera, run out without getting sued, without getting shot, without disappearing, it begs the question of, just like Area 51, if we know about it, we know all these secrets exist, if it's all a psyop, and if we're being misdirected, a red herring, you know, we're focusing our attention on the wrong things. And by the time we know about it, it's all long and gone, just like Epstein's Island, and it's no longer relevant to the conversation.
That's a very valid
Interesting,
question.
Right?
It's a very valid question.
So we're talking about stuff 30 years too late, almost.
Yeah.
The damage is done. The children's lives have been ruined. In
Yes.
the case of Epstein's Island, for example. The politicians have already been compromised. And let's say Trump is involved in some meaningful way that we should absolutely be aware of.
Yeah.
That would be good to know if he's compromised by Mossad intelligence.
It would be very good to know.
It would be
that.
good information.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be good to know in 2016 as well, right? That would be very pertinent information for a voter.
Of course.
In 2016.
Of course. The world that I know, let me back that up for a second. The world that has best been painted to me in the broadest of way, that has really changed in like my view in doing my job and talking with some different people, including people that came from the espionage parts of government or people from the high level military, whatever, is that our entire existence, not America, everybody around the world, is just an on-the-ground casualty of underground little fucking fights and disagreements that espionage organizations have. And that is, I'm not saying I know that like, oh, that's definitely how the world's run. But if I had to bet most of it, rather than it just being one bad guy, right? Like, Klaus Schwab or the WEF or something. Sure. These clearly scumbag elitist organizations. What's the other one? The Bilderberg Group. Like, they all exist. They all do awful.
The fact we know their names, though, leads me to believe there's 30 more we don't know.
That's
right?
what I'm saying. Yeah. They all do awful shit. No doubt about it.
Soros.
But, like, they're all probably, like, some useful idiot in some ways, maybe themselves, above the ground from people that are like, well, if I do this, I'm going to save 5 million American lives and only 2 million people will die. So that's a win. Like, that's how they think.
Sure.
And so when you look at like the worst things, which is like using sex trafficking for espionage, which unfortunately a lot
to save the planet.
Yeah,
That's their justification. Sure.
Guess what? We've done it too, in all likelihood, which makes me sick. It's like somewhere in some room, probably not even smoky filled in the modern day where they don't fucking rip bogues in the office. They went, all right, if we do this, how many lives do we save? All right, it's good trade. Let's do it.
Sure.
That's wild.
And if you view each and every life as one-to-one in this egalitarian, human worldview that we're all equal, then that's a great trade-off, right? That's how they view the world,
That's
probably.
how they view the world.
Fuck up some lives to save the many or whatever.
Yep.
It's like the... look up Mormons' disproportionate representation in the CIA.
Oh, yeah,
so that's interesting, right?
Yeah,
you have these guys who are a bunch of Mormons in the 3-letter agency. They have access to all this information, and...
they want to know where the magic tablets are. That's why they go.
So you've had a lot of Mormons in this table, right?
I think I've only had one. Nick Shirley.
Nick Shirley.
Yeah.
The GOAT.
The GOAT. Mormon GOAT.
Does he care about the tablets?
We had an interesting conversation about it.
What was his take on it? I've never asked the guy about it.
That was back in episode 214.
A lot of episodes.
I don't remember what specifically we talked about with the tablets, but I think he believed that Joseph Smith was like Jesus' cousin or
we don't
whatever.
have to involve him this deeply. Yeah. I don't want to.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. Great guy.
No. He's a Mormon. So
I'm curious if there's a cultural Mormon and then a religious Mormon, right? Like almost like I'm ethnically Jewish. Then there's like a Hasidic Jew, right? I think a lot of these people they go to temple,
right?
Let's say when they need to, but they're largely culturally Mormon.
Okay,
they follow the rules, but I'm Mormon.
Not like 1850s though.
I don't think so. I think that's a lot of. Yeah, have you been to Utah?
No, but I'm supposed to go. I saw American Primeval though. I saw American Primeval. You see that show?
No.
Oh my God, bro.
What is that?
The Mormons were fucking lit in the 1800s.
Bring about soaking?
No, I'm not talking about that shit. They were fucking killing a lot of people out there.
They got that cowboy spirit to them.
Mm-hmm.
What does it say about the CIA real quick? Is this conspiratorial?
So it says the perception of disproportionate. Now this is from Google AI.
I don't even trust Google AI.
Disproportionate representation of Mormons in the CIA stems from the cultural traits that align with agency needs, such as foreign language ability, discipline,
and makes sense.
Respect. Yep, and respect for authority developed through missionary service. While the church denies any connection with the CIA, the presence of former missionaries at Brigham Young University graduates of the CIA and FBI has been noted and interpreted in different ways by those within the community and outside observers. There you go.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's all bullshit. That seems interesting though. The idea that they get sent on their mission, learn a foreign language, some foreign language, come back.
Nick talked all about that. Like he went and he went down. I think it was like to Chile,
somewhere in South America. That's why he has great Spanish skills.
Yeah, learned Spanish inside and out. Learned a different culture, and I know that helps him do his job well now.
100%
for sure.
He's out there speaking fluent Spanish.
Yeah,
interesting people, right?
Very interesting. Very, very. I'm gonna when I go to Utah. I'm probably only gonna
very
be there
nice
for
people,
a couple days, but I kind of want to get like a vibe check, because like that's the other thing.
The vibes will be good. You'll be accepted
when you talk about some things, and it happens all the time because the world's a big place. But you can kind of like overgeneralize some stuff, and it's like, well, you kind of got to go there to know. Sure. And I got to check myself on some stuff I talk about that for sure, but that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I think travel will do you good. Yeah. I don't know how much you travel. I know you do a lot of podcasting.
I haven't in the past 5-6 years. I've been lucky to travel a lot around Europe and see that, and
it's good to see the vibes shift.
Yeah,
you get a little litmus test on the vibes.
Yes,
like going to New York City, for instance, is always interesting to me. Whenever I show up, I'm like, how fucked up is New York? Every time I show up, I'm like, what's going on in New York?
You know,
there's not a bigger point to that. I'm just like, I'm always curious to see what's changed in New York.
What's really sad is that if you know New York like I do, Bill de Blasio was the worst mayor in the history of fucking mayors. Why is he the worst mayor? Oh my God, he was a disaster. He didn't. I don't know much about de Blasio. He didn't believe in basic tenets of rule of law. He did. You know, he was a fucking moron to start with. But then he was in charge during COVID, and you remember the whole like flying airplanes with the French fry to get people to take the vaccine and all that.
A lot of incentives to take the vaccine,
bro.
Yeah.
So I left, went to my parents' house March 31st, 2020. My last time in New York was shortly before that. The next time I came was January 20th or 21st, 2021. This is 2 weeks after Adams takes office, so he's not even like in there yet. And I was legitimately like, holy shit, like this place is destroyed.
Oh, you felt a noticeable shift.
Oh, dude, it was the first time where I was like, yo, I don't know if we can come back from this. It was crazy. But here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Adams, you know, regular kind of
like OG gangster type, right? He was pushing drugs back in the day in his youth or something like that.
I don't know about that, but maybe.
I think he said he's a former drug dealer in his youth or something.
But like, you know, he had been a cop or something later and all that. Adams really fucking cleaned that place up over 4 years. And I always said this about Adams. I said, don't listen to what he says. He'll fucking come out and say the right thing. He'll talk about, when the Giants are playing the Eagles, if the Giants win, he'll send vegan chicken to the mayor of Philly. But like, he would say all these crazy
he's a funny
shit.
Funny guy.
But then you'd watch what he did, and he was kind of like old school, let's clean some shit up. Sure. And the city got better and better and better. There was one huge exception, though, and I know you know all about this. It was the fucking immigrant buses coming in and filling up the hotels.
They're sending them, a lot of them from Texas.
And I fully understand. Why Florida and Texas were doing that. It's like, well, you guys want to talk about sanctuary cities and tell us to have open borders and shit. We're dealing with the problem. Enjoy. And Adams knew, I believe, from day one, this is bullshit. This is a problem. Why 100%. The fuck are we doing this? But publicly be like, well, you know, we're a city of immigrants. We're going to let everyone in.
Yeah, he's kind of fucked, right?
And then finally he couldn't take it anymore. And he came out and he said, this is bullshit. They indicted him 2 weeks later. And
I remember that.
They killed his brand. Crazy. They killed his brand, killed his fucking mayoralship, and now you get Mamdani. It should be fucking Adams doing another term and continuing to clean up the city. And like, I'm rooting for Mamdani because now he's fucking running the city. I don't have a lot of hope though.
He won.
You know,
pretty crazy.
He won.
I really like what's the red beret wearing guy? He's a funny guy.
Curtis Sleewa.
I met him once briefly. I interviewed him, and he seems like a genuine character. I haven't really kept up to date on the whole narrative, but he's dedicated his whole life to public service and walking ladies home.
He literally has.
Yeah. Pretty honorable life story, right? A true New Yorker as well, right?
Yes.
Maybe he doesn't understand the social media game and how to market as effectively as Mamdani, because you got to give Mamdani credit. He worked it, right?
Amazing.
And he didn't take AIPAC money, which I give him credit for.
Yes.
It is crazy, though. I found an interview of him like 9 years ago. His mom's an Indian, I think, Bollywood filmmaker.
Yes.
It all comes back to Indians, bro.
Talking with the Urdu accent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now he has none of it. He speaks perfect English. I got to give the guy kudos. I'm like, that is crazy adaptation in such a period of time. But what's even crazier, Julian, what's legitimate about his campaign is he says he's going to tax white neighborhoods heavier and redistribute that wealth in some capacity. There's some legitimate racist element of his campaign against white people, from my understanding.
Mamdani.
And I'm not trying to, like, there's a lot of...
wants to tax...
white people.
White neighborhoods. More, was this... You're saying this was a...
This is in his campaign spiel.
Right, so this is from the New York Post, who doesn't like him, to be fair, but, you know, doesn't mean what they're reporting is wrong.
I'm pretty sure it was in his actual website at the time is what...
So let's find out. This is from June 2025. Zoran Mamdani doubles down on plan to target whiter neighborhoods with higher taxes and said billionaires shouldn't exist. So this is just Mamdani dubbed the Fidel Castro of New York by one deep-pocketed critic, claimed his soak the rich proposal was not driven by race despite his campaign platform explicitly targeting white homeowners. That is just a description of what we see right now. It's not driven by race. It's more of an assessment of what neighborhoods are being undertaxed versus overtaxed, which again, this goes back to the whole thing you and I were talking about earlier, where it's like, you just define everything as white. A Greek is white. An Italian is white. A fucking
what is a white neighborhood, right?
Yeah, like what
it
even
would help
is
to have
that?
a formal classification,
right?
agree.
Like it's
and everyone has some strain of something now.
Yeah,
it'd probably be tough to find what point are you too brown to be white? Too white to be brown?
So all right,
I don't know.
Wave your wand and go forward 4,000 years if we haven't fucking killed ourselves and we're still here. Do we all just look the same? And is life easier that way?
I think we look like an Indian-African hybrid, actually. This is based off of pure speculation and numbers, but I think we look like a combination of an Indian-African. Actually, I think we all look mixed, apparently. We look like a light-skinned African. Yes. I think that was what the scientists had predicted.
Yeah, it's like a... What did it look like?
I read a book, and the premise was this. It was a guy who time-traveled into the future. I read this book when I was like 13. And we all have arched necks. It's like that whole joke image you saw of like a dude with a really big head, like a really thin popsicle stick neck.
Yep.
Like it's a deformed fucker.
Yeah.
And then all of the races have combined because obviously one world order.
And here's the thing, man. Forget even the one. Pretend there wasn't a one world order. Okay, and there might be, and that's dystopian and sucks. But pretend it was like actually free. Mm-hmm. This is where that balance comes in. I love cultures. I love that we have different things that we can be like, oh, you do that, and then sometimes you look at something and you're like, you do that, like that, fuck that. But then other times it's like, wait, you look at Italy, you're like, oh my god, you made pasta like that? Holy shit! You go to some other country, you make baskets that way? How the fuck did you do that?
Sure,
it's the coolest thing ever. That's where it's pure to have cultural like sharing and things like that. But when what you've been talking about and what's fair is that at a level of like, what do we have as values in society? What do we have to function day to day so that we are functional and progress and actually move forward?
Like the loss of a distinct identity in each one of these countries as more and more people migrate.
Sure. And I think that's valid. But, I do want to go back to when you actually went to Epstein Island. Like when you get off the jet ski and you get on there, and people can go watch this video on your channel. We'll have it linked down below. It's wild. Is your heart rate just like jacked? Like
for sure.
Like holy shit. Like were you worried you're gonna get shot?
We were. Yeah. I was worried we were gonna get arrested, accosted, footage deleted, that sort of thing. But I probably, in hindsight, overestimated the level of fucks they give because they'd already sold the island. I'm sure the information is already... There's no hidden paperwork in the buildings or anything. So, I was super paranoid. I thought we would get arrested, detained, the whole gambit, right? Lose the footage. Nothing ever happened.
So, obviously we saw the footage. So
which almost like if you're a concerned citizen of the United States of America, you almost want something to happen to vindicate the idea that there is in fact something bigger going on there. So the fact that you can just show up on a jet ski, film as much as you can, and then dip out on a jet ski and go home untouched almost leads you to believe there's really not much going on there or nothing left there.
They got it all gone.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean... There's no doubt in my mind, like you've heard about when they raided his place in New York, there's like guys that killed themselves.
There's one in Miami too, right? One of his apartments in Miami, I think mysteriously got demolished.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, you look up Epstein apartment Miami. I think the whole building was demolished actually.
Miami apartment Epstein building demolished.
I hope this is real.
Developer. Well, I know they demolished his whole Palm Beach mansion. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
That was totally raised.
That's real.
The whole ground. Yeah, that's gone.
Okay.
And that's what's coming up. So Jeffrey Epstein's $22 million Palm Beach mansion will be demolished, and it was. This is back in end of 2020.
Yeah, not too long ago.
Yeah, I would imagine that's what I knew about that one. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like. What I don't understand, I had a guy, Mike Yeagley, sitting there recently, twice. The second time he was, at the end of the first conversation, we're talking for like 3 hours, 20 minutes. He's like, man, we didn't even get to Epstein. I'm like, what?
Sure.
And I'm like, what about Epstein? He's like, well, I mean, I tracked phones to his island in 2015, 2016.
Really?
Like, you say that at the beginning of the podcast. You don't wait till, so I'm like, all right, come back. So he came back and we did episode 251 on it. But Mike Yeagley is like a data hacker, and he uses publicly available data. And he actually went to the government with this like 12 years ago and said,
So
"You
like
guys
a white hat hacker."
Oh yeah, he's like, "You guys, it's not even hacking. It's like that's the word you put on it." But he's he's buying publicly available data and then reading that data to figure out who people are and where they're going. And he went to the government and said, "You guys got a fucking problem." So one of the things he just did in his bedroom after the Epstein story like went mainstream in 2019, he said, "Oh shit, let me see what kind of phones were going there." He was tracking, of course, the bartenders and servers' phones and stuff, and then he was literally tracking Bill Gates' phone completely there.
Bill Gates.
In 2015, 2016.
So the rumor was Bill Gates divorced Melinda Gates, or Melinda Gates divorced Bill Gates due to her speculation that he was involved with Epstein and raping kids, right?
That's correct.
Allegedly.
That's what the report was.
Don't sue Julian. Don't sue me.
Schmill Schmates.
Did you see, by the way, there's a journalist on Twitter. I mean, he's a journalist, but I saw this on Twitter, who's getting sued by Kash Patel's girlfriend for implying that she is a honeypot.
Yes.
That's pretty crazy, right?
That's
you can't joke around on Twitter without... He's the director of the FBI.
Yeah.
It's his girlfriend suing you for an insane amount of money.
It's Streisand effect, like, to a T.
100%.
Like, it's very stupid to sue the guy. Even if he was saying dumb shit.
Sure.
Very stupid.
Well, he's getting sued.
It's
so he fled to El Salvador currently to not get arrested by the feds or something. He's like, "I'm currently in El Salvador." They're like, "Fuck you, you coward, come back." And he's like, "I don't want to get taken to jail," basically. So it's interesting, right? Land of the free, home of the brave. Mm-hmm. How free are we? We haven't even talked about like Palantir or any of that stuff. I'm not an expert by any means, but that's interesting, right? Because Palantir was seed funded by the CIA.
And QTEL, yeah.
Crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So Palantir theoretically has the ability to get all the information the government wants, but can't legally take themselves. The government can outsource that to Palantir. They can extract all that data, and then the government can legally use that information, right?
Yep.
So they've created a backdoor to extract all of our information.
That's right.
That's interesting, right?
It's very interesting. Have you done a video on this yet?
No. We should, though.
Are you going to?
Maybe. It might be beyond my depth. We're just speaking, this is like top of my Twitter feed here. Yeah. But that's interesting, right? That's an interesting development. And they've used that technology apparently to decide which kids are getting bombed in Gaza, I think. Mm-hmm. That's real.
That is real.
Israel. I like what you did there.
Yeah. I mean, the way they would put it is which terrorists are we targeting in Gaza, but we all know how that turned out. But yes.
So it's interesting, too. You can label anyone a terrorist, and then we have the means to kill them without scrutiny.
Yeah.
Interesting, right?
It's a post-2001 world, it seems like.
And you get a thug shakedown whenever you go through TSA because 9/11, shoe bomber, allegedly.
Allegedly.
What are your thoughts on 9/11?
As in, like, the story we got publicly?
Correct, yeah.
Oh, of course, the story is not what we were told. I do get shit for some of my takes on 9/11 though, and I'm staying open-minded on it. I know, like, Tucker actually just did like an investigation on it that I was watching that was very interesting. What's clear to me is the following: there are other countries that had intelligence that knew something was going to go down, and they didn't share it with us.
Sure,
it was multiple countries, and there was what we have known since the beginning that they couldn't cover up was the fact that there was a huge disagreement between Alex Station at CIA and FBI, and Alex Station big dogged FBI and basically kept them out of the loop, and that directly caused hijackers to fall through the cracks. The layer that it gets to where they're like, okay, therefore
controlled demolition.
The controlled demolition, Building 7, that it looks wrong.
Okay,
that looks wrong. Let's put that to the side for a second. That's a separate conversation. Just starting at the basics, though, when people talk about like, oh, the CIA 100% did it, I think there are probably people in the U.S. government who knew it was going to happen. I can't prove that, but I probably think there were. The issue with the CIA actually doing this one, though, is that they have they went on record, like the director and the head of CTC and like Rich Blee went to the White House multiple times in the summer of 2001, July and August, and told them it was coming. So why would the people who are trying to make it happen go do that? Which tells me maybe it was people in the White House that knew. So somebody knew. It's
and then we have the perfect false flag.
The bottom line is it's fucked up and it's a perfect false flag.
Sure.
Yep, 100%.
And I guess, probably thought of that because Dick Cheney just died. And then I don't know what exact relationship he had with Halliburton, what level of ownership or influence, but
he was the CEO.
He was the CEO, right? And he's awarding himself defense contracts without bidding, right?
Yes.
So that's fucking crazy. That's legal, right? We can have the vice president of the United States mysteriously involve us as a country in a war with the Osama bin Laden rabbit hole is crazy too, because what the fuck does Osama have to do with Afghanistan?
What do you mean?
I don't even think he's from Afghanistan.
No, he's not.
None
he's
of it
Saudi.
even.
Yeah.
Why are we bombing Afghanistan? Why are we entering Afghanistan?
That one because they were because he was taking refuge there and the Taliban was protecting him. That's why they did that.
Allegedly.
But
Sure. But anyways, we killed 1 million Afghanis, right? Is that the number? How many Afghanis?
By the end of the war, I actually don't know the number offhand, but it was
so there's a large number of people. Halliburton's directly benefiting off of this, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So we're in this perma war situation.
More Iraq, to be clear.
Okay, that's fair.
But yes, yeah.
Okay,
point
241. I'm way off. How many people died in Iraq?
That was a lot.
Okay, I was way off then. We're ambitious with our factoids here. Yeah.
But that's why we're checking it.
Yeah.
The million sounds similar from Iraq. Yeah, that's where you're getting it from. Approximately 186,000 to over 1 million total deaths in Iraq
super
from
broad
03
range.
to 11. It's a broad range.
How do we not have a number on that? That's weird, right?
It is very weird.
So all the stuff we left behind for the Taliban.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see the video of them sort of playing around with the technology in the gyms, like kids at a play set?
Yep.
That's crazy, right?
It's crazy.
We went there for questionable motives, blew them the fuck up, killed a bunch of their people, left all our shit behind, dipped. Taliban assumed the power.
That's what
filled the power vacuum.
Up. The fact that they're in control again, it's crazy.
But there's some positive things that have come out of the Taliban. This is controversial. I'm pretty sure they banned the opium trade. So they're super strict on the drug use. Fact check me on this. I think they have these super intense rehab facilities for drug users.
Wow.
But like, let's see what his fact check says.
They beat the drug use out of you?
I think they did. They also, stripped women of their rights and those important things. But Afghanistan rounded up from these streets into Taliban drug rehab. So they're super strict on the drug trade, and I believe like 90% of the opium supply
93
comes from Afghanistan.
93. Yep.
The majority of Europe got their opium from Afghanistan
and East Asia too. Yeah.
So fentanyl is a synthetic alternative, arguably to the opium.
Yeah.
Where am I going with this? They don't have fentanyl, but maybe they will one day, given that the Afghanistan are now throttling the supply of the opium that they produce. Right. But I'm sure it'll just be produced elsewhere.
Yeah.
It's interesting, though, that Europe does not have the same relationship with fentanyl that the United States does. We're getting murked by fentanyl.
It's a reverse opium war from China.
You think so?
Yeah, and obviously they're utilizing the cartels, and there's a lot of moving pieces there. But I mean, that's just my opinion based on a lot of people I've talked to. Doesn't mean I'm right.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of compelling evidence on the Chinese working directly with cartels and utilizing our border to get that into our country.
I'm just reading this. I'm listening to you as well. The result was 99% reduction in the area of opium poppy farming in Taliban.
The Taliban,
areas.
yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's what it is.
We haven't really even talked about fentanyl at all.
We haven't, and you've done some work on that. I've seen.
Sure, yeah. Every major city has some degree of people zombified, bent over, dying.
Obviously,
on the streets.
Kensington's the wildest example, but it's happening everywhere.
Everywhere. Just in Providence, Rhode Island. Surprisingly, a lot of people, homeless people, drug addicts, intersection of the two. Strong intersectionality there, for sure. But it's interesting that we even allow fentanyl to exist in the country in the first place. That is not a something we can just stop, right? Seems like a very
What do you mean
solvable.
allow it to exist? I mean, technically we don't allow it, but it's getting in easily. Right? Yeah.
How hard can it be to prevent the flow of fentanyl into the United States?
We let it get so out of control that now it is really hard.
I don't buy it.
You don't buy it?
No. And what is our relationship with Mexico? So we seem to be cool with them being a narco state, right?
Cool is a strong word.
That seems to be within our power, the strength of our mighty military, right? That we could probably put a stop to that if we wanted to.
I would think so. Removing some barriers of diplomacy there, yeah.
And Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, 37 candidates leading up to her were assassinated before she's elected president, I think is the exact number.
Luckiest woman in Mexico.
Isn't that crazy, though? Mm-hmm. So it's like, how much money is there to be made out of the fentanyl trade is a real question. And the leading cause of death for adults under 40, I believe, is accidental deaths. And one of the largest categories of accidental deaths is opioid overdose deaths. So
I'll tell you where my brain also goes with it, because, of course, this is all relevant right now vis-a-vis the Mexico relationship. Yeah. Put that aside for 1 second. How about the fact that a legalized cartel within our country created the demand for this, unfettered, for over a decade?
You're talking about
Purdue and the Sacklers.
Yes, the Sacklers. That's crazy.
It just that
the overprescription of a lot of these drugs too that's another issue.
It's
sure
that way, and they never served a day in prison.
That's crazy.
That's where I go. There's some
round them up, right?
Not even just that, but there's some powers that be at hand here, moving some pieces on a chessboard that we're not looking at. That's where my mind does go full, like, Godfather, like Besenavante on a string, like absolutely. Like one thing leads to the other, which leads to the other, which leads to the other, which is where we are now.
Sure.
It is evolution.
So whether it's illegally trafficked into the country or we legalize it and sell it as a pain med, fucked either way.
Yeah.
But obviously no one's forcing you to take it, right?
Yeah. But
it's pretty alluring.
I'll tell you,
cures all of your pain, you have chronic pain.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Sure.
The people I feel horrible for are, someone who's working and they hurt their back or something and they go to a doctor and then the doctor prescribed them like all this shit. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
So I broke this wrist 3 times, right?
Doing what?
First time was on a bike, second time was playing basketball, third time was playing football.
Okay.
So the second time I did it was bad and they were able to reset it.
Okay.
The third time I did it, I needed to get a plate and screws. So I did it when I was a sophomore in college.
Sounds terrible, by the way.
Freshman in college. Okay. This was like 2012. So I think I'm like 18 years old.
Sure.
And the college doctor, I go to because I did it like on campus. So then I went into the doctor who was going to do the surgery and all that. And then they had me go see the college doctor just to like check in on me and stuff like that. I don't even remember it. He prescribed me like 4 months worth of oxycodone or something. No, I didn't take
that stuff's super addictive, right?
Oh, I didn't take any of it. Okay. It was a funny story. It sat in my backpack in this little pocket that I forgot about. So when I was in high school once, I used to get bagels at school, and I would take the knife from the cafeteria and put the cream cheese on my bagel in class and then stick it in my backpack.
It's very Jewish.
So I go through TSA one time with my parents, and they're like, "What the fuck? Get over here!" And the fucking
it's my bagel officer.
And you see the typical like big fucking TSA lady who looks like she could beat the shit out of you, and she's pulling knives out of my backpack.
What?
I'm like, "Oh shit! I'm sorry. Those are my bagel knives," and they let me go because they realized I was just and not a terrorist. Yeah. But probably white privilege or whatever you want to call it, if you will. But so I go
He's Italian. He's not white.
Exactly. I go through TSA a few years later. This is like 4 months after I break my wrist. I never took any of that oxycodone, but I forgot I had it.
Okay. So
before we get to TSA, I'm with my mom. She goes, "Any surprises in your backpack?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think so." And I go through the pockets. I'm like, ugh. And all the oxycodone had been like thrown around and fallen out. So it was just pure powder.
Sure.
And I never took it, but I'm like, I could have taken all that. I could have been addicted to fucking Percocets at
fucked.
age 19 and be dead now, or on the side of a road somewhere with no life. And I never asked for it. I never wanted it. I wasn't particularly in pain. I didn't say, give me fucking pain meds, doc. But that's how easily they were giving that shit out. So the people that reverberate from that, I feel really bad for.
Yeah, because you're kind of just hooked for life. Yeah. Like, think of these coal miners in Appalachia. Yes. Appalachia. You said it the right way. Appalachia, not Appalachia. Yeah. Think of these guys, burly dudes, working their ass off in the mines, hurting their body, chronic pain. What's going to save them? Booze or oxy, right? Or maybe both.
Maybe both.
How many options do you have, right, to cure that chronic pain?
Not a lot if you go to a doctor, apparently.
Apparently nothing, right? Besides some fucking magical drug we invented within the last century you got to take, or you're going to be in crippling pain for the rest of your life.
That's right.
So maybe the guys before them were just slamming booze, just drinking alcohol at home after work, and that was the cure-all back then.
I don't know, man, but it's something did change there. And now, like, so like you said, you've been going to all these cities, though, where you just see people who are, and it's not even like a joke of a term, they're literally zombies.
Yeah,
they
people
just sit there
will hear that term and think it's a slur or a pejorative.
It's not. It's very
By any
real.
means, it's not. And what's sad about all of it, too, is the popular perspective on drug addicts, particularly people on fentanyl, bent over in this zombified state, was the way to solve this is to give them some foil, give them some needles. That's what they call harm reduction, right? Better that they do it cleanly,
right?
So they prevent the spread of AIDS and STDs and all this stuff. And then if they want to come into rehab when they're ready, let's bring them into rehab. Well, lo and behold, a lot of these people die before they end up in rehab. So this conception of compassion is, let's help these people do drugs safely, even though there's really is there really a safe way to do fentanyl? Arguably, there is not.
No, I don't think there is.
But we're going to help them use fentanyl safely. We're going to give them Narcan to revive themselves. If you talk to these people, a common question I'll ask them is, how many times have you died? I need no lead up to that. Every time they'll give me a number. Every time. And it's often greater than 1. Sometimes 5, 10, 20. Crazy numbers. These people have died multiple times, brought back to life by Narcan.
Yep.
Well, I drove up here along the East Coast. It says, always have naloxone, Narcan. Billboards promoting Narcan. So our approach to this has been harm reduction, give you this almost like a video game tool, an instant revive.
Yeah.
Rather than let's revise our conception of compassion and maybe, I don't know, put a stronger, heavier pressure on getting these people off the streets, taking the drugs out of their hands, maybe even controversially forcing them into some form of detox if we really want to save their lives. So it's like we value this bodily autonomy over their actual lives.
Yeah, I think you have a point there on that last one about like forcible
compassion allowing them
detox.
to kill themselves slowly and surely.
Yeah,
that's weird, right? That's inhuman of us.
So if you got this is where it would get strange too with the arguments. If you got like the really, really pure libertarian in here, they would say it's their choice to do that.
Well, no, but they'd be dead already, right? Because they wouldn't have had the Narcan in the first place, and they wouldn't have the ambulance to come there. We're interjecting, creating this.
Right.
We're giving them 20 lives due to outside intervention, right?
They're saying give them one, and they get to choose what.
And that's fair, right? Their argument is at least they're alive, but inevitably they do die. So we're extending the inevitable outcome, which is death for a lot of these drug addicts. And obviously, they're not just drug addicts. They're people, and that's the important point, right? These are people. So what if we encouraged them to detox, we took the drugs out of their hands, we stopped giving them needles and foil to continue using drugs, brought them into rehab, reincorporated them into society in a meaningful way, rather than just giving them needles, foil, throwing them in an apartment that ends up getting maybe trashed and they die.
It's a better outcome.
Hopefully, right?
Yeah, it is.
The bigger question, though, is this fentanyl use for what used to be normal everyday people. Is that a symptom of a broader sickness in American society, right? Is the soul of America dying? Are we at the point where people are so disenfranchised and hopeless that using fentanyl and killing yourself is the best case scenario for a lot of these people? There is no brighter outcome than doing some drugs in the corner, prostituting yourself for some money to continue using drugs until you die.
If I wanted to, let's say, and I don't know what year it is, but let's say that I'm a powerful person, better yet, I'm a powerful organization, and my long-term goal for society was to do some form of eugenics or something like that, or purify genes and also limit the population.
Sure.
And I needed to come up with a plan as to how to do that.
Yep.
I would create a false incentive for people to believe that they needed to get certain hurdles to be able to participate in the economy. And let's put an example on that. I would say, you know what? Congratulations, every 17-year-old, regardless of your aspirations or dreams. You're a loser if you don't sign this bill to go to college for $200,000 for the next 4 years, or $100,000 for the next 4 years with debt you're never going to be able to pay off in an economy that doesn't offer jobs for a lot of the degrees you're getting. I would then use that economic disenfranchisement to make sure that I crashed the economy, and on the other side allowed all the rich people to be able to invest and win their money back, while everyone else is humping themselves and realizing their 401k is now delayed an extra 20 years if they even have one. I would tell society that everything pleasurable is how they should escape. I would make gambling completely legalized and put it on their phones at all times, which I think should be something that people have the option to do, but I would make it available everywhere so that people could literally decide that's the best hope I have to make money. I would glorify the things that are strictly against work ethic and maybe glorify all party culture and things like that. And then I would tell people that actually, you know, for compassion with drugs, we have to let people do it, which would incentivize more people to do it. Because I'd also have set up a system where people are getting addicted to drugs for reasons because they trusted the fucking medical system, just like the examples I gave you a few minutes ago with opioids. When they get a fucking injury, I would create the incentives so that organizations like that could exist to allow those drugs to come into the system. I would crash society in every way, where I would take things that appeared to be me helping people or giving them pleasure, such that it is actually causing them destruction and death, and getting all of the losers of the evolutionary Darwinism gene pool out of the gene pool and accomplishing my goal of some utopian society. That's what I would do.
That was a crazy rant. That was good. I would agree. And I think that's what probably is happening to some extent. In addition to that, though, if you look up medically assisted death in Canada, I don't know if it's technically legal in this country yet, but you'll see it often used in Canada as a means of solving poverty for some people.
Yes.
So people who are disabled, let's say you got injured in the workplace, you're depressed, your medical bills are expensive. Rather than us helping you get back on your feet and find some job you can be a part of, why not fucking kill yourself? Let's just kill you. We'll help you do it. It'll be planned. We'll give you a date. You can tell your family. You can tell your friends. It'll be painless. Why not choose death? You mind if I go pee real quick?
Yeah. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
All right, we're good to go. We're back. Go ahead.
Sorry, small bladder. Amidst your rant, you presented a really interesting idea. You said you would crash the economy, right?
Yes.
But by all observable metrics that I'm aware of, the economy's looking great.
What did I say after that?
You would entice people into hedonism and...
No. Well, I did say that, but I said I would crash the economy and then in the recovery make sure that all the people who already had money to redeploy, the rich, would be the ones that would be able to profit on the recovery and not everyone else.
Fair. Okay. Yeah. Good clarification. Thank you for that. Yeah. But in addition to that, GDP's going up, stock growth off the charts, but what about real wage growth, right? How much does your dollar actually do if you're an average Joe? It's doing the same or less, from my understanding, than it was. If you take the boomers, for example, they were experiencing real wage growth in addition to the economy's growth.
Yes.
So everyone felt the growth of the economy. Many people in our generation are not.
They don't.
So the economy's growing as a concept, this ethereal, amorphous concept of the economy, right? This monopoly money, these stock charts, this unreal economic concept. Economy's going up. But who's seeing the growth of that? Not the everyman.
Only the rich. Yes.
And when we say rich, you know, what might come to mind is like, okay, the millionaires.
No.
What is $1 million in 2025?
I would be talking specifically and I'm really rounding numbers here. This is not scientific.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the people 10 million and up. That's
people with real money, right? Yeah. Are making a shit ton more.
Yes.
Which in an ideal scenario, I'm not opposed to wealth creation. I think it's great. I think you should get rich. In addition to that, ideally, if the economy is growing at large, you would hope the nation itself, every participant in the nation is seeing some elements of that, right?
That's right.
And then we don't want to kill each other in that scenario.
And then we don't want to kill each other
or kill ourselves, right?
There's a line that you get all these moments in here and little lines stand out, right? Maybe they don't to people out there, but like I'm in here with the person and they'll say something, I'm like, ooh, and it just kind of burns there. I remember my friend Matt Kemenash back in episode 43 was telling me, he's like, inflation at 10%, people are mad. 15%, they're really pissed off. They're complaining. They're voting more. They're doing this, that. 40%, they're in the fucking streets. He's like, you don't have to know what inflation is. You know what it feels like.
Or you just look around you, right? How pissed off are people?
And that's the thing. When you see these trends that you're talking about continue, where's the crossing point? Where does it happen to where people actually fucking, do the unthinkable and, actually fucking go at each other in streets? And I'm very careful how I talk about that because I think people run to the fucking narratives way too fast and they run to the vitriol and they almost like wish it into existence.
I agree.
But that doesn't mean that you should therefore assume that all the problems you're looking at right now that are identifiable problems are automatically going to figure themselves out. No, we have to have these conversations. Then action has to be taken publicly to be like, all right, well, what are we going to do to find a better solution for 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Sure.
Because these, like you said, men in their let's take the stereotype right now, men in their mid-20s right now, maybe with a good degree too, they're not happy. And I get it. And
they're mad. They're mad. They're hopeless.
And that's a problem. It's a big problem.
A lot of them are getting no pussy.
Yeah, that's another huge problem too.
That's existential, right? And
yes.
Not to say like, oh, men deserve pussy or whatever. Obviously, you got to earn it in the kingdom, right? you got to present value to a suitor that reciprocates their desire to be with you. With that being said, at a certain point, though, if you're a human man, you have no prospects of a wife or a female partner, let's say, assuming you're heterosexual, might as well kill yourself. Riley, what's the point at a certain point? If you are truly a despondent incel in the corners of the internet and you feel there's no hope, and that's a legitimate belief in your opinion, there's no point to anything. Speaking of suicide, the medical assistance in death in Canada.
Oh, your transitions are wild.
Well, like, how bad do things have to get for it to be a viable option?
Yes.
For suicide to be a viable option, they got to get pretty bad, right?
Yeah, this is what we were talking about before the break. But
so I want to look up the amount of time required for you to go through with the MAID program in Canada.
Go through the what?
MAID program. So they call it MAID. That's the acronym, Medical Assistance in Death.
Oh, God.
So from my understanding, the amount of time required to go from, hey, I'm thinking of killing myself, to actually getting euthanasia from the government has gone down and down and down.
Oh, my God. Yeah, MAID, you're right.
Minimum of 90 days.
90 days. Great. So if I'm going through it for 91 days.
So here's what's crazy. Here's how fucked a society has to be for that to be an option, much less facilitated by the government. So you and I both, I'm sure, have had some depressive states in our life.
Yes.
The lowest of lows. You feel like shit.
Longer than 90 days.
Longer than 90 days, right? Yeah. Maybe even some suicidal thoughts entered your mind. Maybe you felt really, really sad. And for everyone watching, don't kill yourself. There is hope. And I'm not trying to blackpill anyone. There's always a better future ahead. Seriously, have hope. Everyone, I would argue, has probably gone through some severe depressive state.
Yes.
That's not to say you're chronically depressed or there's something chemically imbalanced in your mind and there's no hope. 90 days. That's not a lot of time.
Not a lot of time.
91st day, you could start feeling good. But if 90 days is the the prerequisite for I'm thinking of killing myself to actually killing myself, then a lot of people that shouldn't be dying are dying. And obviously, I look up how many people have killed themselves in Canada using MAID. I don't think it's a shit ton of people killing themselves, but even the idea, the promotion of that as a concept, I think is a symptom of a dying society.
Oh, I think it's a huge problem. And you have to remember some of the same minds that are going to be in charge of being the ivory tower around this are, because I don't ever like broad brushing people. There's a lot of people in the medical field who hate shit like this, 100%. Of course, way more who hate it. But there's this small, stupid minority that are also the same people that tell an 8-year-old that, oh, you feel like you're the other gender? Great, you're going to be the other gender now. It's like if an 18-year-old wants to decide that, all right, you know, they're an adult. They have to make their own decisions. But like when you do that to fucking 8-year-olds and encourage it, and you've heard the stories about the psychologists and psychiatrists who fucking be like, no, I'm gonna, when they're 4, like, oh yeah, no, you're actually a girl.
That's tough. That's tough.
Oh, it's so bad, man. It's so fucking bad.
Because a lot of these changes are irreversible, right? That's the tragedy. And does a child, at what point does a human being, like 18 is a pretty arbitrary number.
Oh right? Yeah, no, I'm not even arguing that. I'm
like
saying
the whole joke of what is it? Men reach full brain development at 25. Is that the
brain?
Is that
develops.
real? I don't even know if that's real.
No, that's real. The brain. We can check that, Deep.
But 15,000 people in 2023 killed themselves using Made in Canada.
That's insane.
It's a lot of people. It's a lot of people,
4.7% of all deaths in the country.
That's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
That's actually pretty impressive. And I believe there's a case, this could be total fake news, but I think it's in Amsterdam. There are these suicide pods.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And I believe someone got trapped in one of them, like mid-suicide procedure, and they strangled her to death. This sounds outlandish, and I'm hoping it's a fake story.
I hope it's fake, too. Amsterdam...
Look up suicide pod strangled to death malfunction.
Oh, man.
Whoa. So she traveled.
Several arrested after American woman dies in first use of controversial suicide pod. Go down deep.
Look into the details here. Okay, so it's in Switzerland.
Swiss police have arrested several people after a controversial futuristic-looking capsule designed to allow its occupants to kill themselves was used for the first time. Police in the northern canton of Schaffhausen, bordering Germany, said the so-called Sarko capsule had been deployed in a wood in the municipal... Okay, so this is one where they used it illegally.
Okay, look up medically assisted death, malfunction, choked to death or something. These are fucked up search queries. Your Google's going to be corrupted. But
well, we passed that a long time ago.
Yeah, no, we've danced around a lot of ideas here. Maybe this isn't real.
I hope it's not real.
Okay, that's interesting, though, the fact that it's just illegal. And they did
this one was, they were using it illegally. Woman using suicide pod reportedly found with strangulation marks inside. Holy shit.
Yeah,
it's real.
I mean...
October 30th, 2024 from Newsweek. An American woman who opted to end her life in Switzerland through the controversial Sarko suicide pod was reportedly found dead inside with strangulation marks on her neck.
It says reportedly the physical marks on the woman have not been verified. Can we see if those are verified now? that some time has passed?
Either way, this was a real report. You didn't make it up.
No, I mean, the headline exists. I'm just not sure if...
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So it's crazy. I actually spoke to a disabled woman in Canada. Super sweet lady. We did a piece on medically assisted death in Canada. And she said that despite wanting to live wholeheartedly and telling her doctors that she had a strong desire to live, she was not suicidal. She was repeatedly offered and almost encouraged to kill herself.
1984 shit, bro.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's nuts.
So this is a disabled woman who is wheelchair bound. Her mind is still fully there. She's a super sharp, funny lady.
Ooh.
Consistently and repeatedly encouraged to kill herself. So we reached out to her because I think she put out some Twitter thread at some point to hear her story. She's like an author. And yeah, the government's telling her to end her life. So it's interesting to me that we're so willing to bring a bunch of other people and have this idea of empathy that we're gonna save the world. We're gonna give all this foreign aid. We're gonna bring some of these people to our country. We're gonna help them out, and then you have the simultaneous belief that, oh, you're disabled. You sure you don't want to kill yourself? Are you sure? Yeah. And then that leads to your sort of conspiracy theory of so are we just replacing these people? Is it legitimate replacement? Are we?
It's no. I think it's a discarding of all people. I don't think there's any replacement. I don't think they make a distinction on who it is. I think that there are people in the world who view people as smart and dumb, and there's no middle ground, and
Sure.
they get to arbitrarily decide that. So all the dumb people, or how they view them as dumb, they're gonna try to take advantage of people, including people who aren't dumb or just maybe in a tougher mental spot
Sure.
or something going on, and let the strongest survive. In their words, not mine. And that's what I think it is.
So that's eugenics.
That's
definitely eugenics.
Did you ever see the show, The Man in the High Castle?
No, I've heard of it though.
So it's based on Philip K. Dick's short story, Man in the High Castle. The concept, this show was about 5 years ahead of its time. It would have been enormous if it didn't come out in 2015.
Okay.
But the concept of the show is that the Allies lost World War II.
Okay.
Germany and Japan won. It's early 60s in the U.S., which is controlled by Germany all the way to the Rocky Mountains, and west of the Rocky Mountains, it's Japan. And there's a multiverse where the world exists where the U.S. had won the war, and there's a lot of shit going on. But the main character played by the main German SS guy in America, who's an American who became an SS soldier in this post-apocalyptic whatever world,
Sure.
played by Rufus Sewell brilliantly, I might add. He ends up having a son who is diagnosed by his family doctor with a disorder after he's feeling sick, and is a part of, Hitler's Nazi Germany eugenics.
Sure.
It's lawful that he must be killed.
Must be.
And the SS father becomes more of a father after that, and decides to kill the doctor, spoiler alert, and won't kill his son, because now it's on his front porch, with it happening. But that plot line just always struck me, because I'm like, well, that's the world they wanted, and this isn't far off that.
Sure. And it's like, I view the same thing when it comes to homeless people, and the idea that we've sort of been taught over the last, 2 decades, within my lifetime, that compassion is letting these people use drugs, this hyper-libertarian view of use it until you die,
Right.
rather than tough love of bringing you into some sort of detox center,
Right.
or even arresting you, which would force you to detox, some pseudo-authoritarian measure with the goal and hopes of saving your life. Because the life no longer becomes the priority. In the case of the drug addiction stuff, it's the individual free will to use until you die, right? So in this very specific example in American society, when it comes to drug use, we, for whatever reason, are super, super hyper-libertarian. But for a lot of other things, we're not.
Yeah.
We really don't care about the human life, like you said, though. And why would we if we can import a million bajillion Indians or anyone for that matter? I use that as a joke now. I'm being facetious.
Yeah, I know.
But human life is replaceable, right?
Yeah. That's how they look at it.
Who's they? We use that term, right?
That's what I'm saying.
As they elected officials that actually make legitimate change that we're beholden to?
I think it's very bad people.
Sure.
Who are either in charge or useful idiots, or both, most likely both, who are, again, like, there's that underworld of fucked up espionage, like, call them disagreements, if you will, and the casualties exist up in the real world because they're all tied together. That's my best guess. That's all it is. But it's look, I do want to be really hopeful about the future. Part of being hopeful about the future, though, is recognizing problems that we have to face right now and try to come together and find good solutions on as a society. And I think that channels like yours represent at least pointing these things out. Doesn't mean all your opinions are going to be 100%. Right. Doesn't mean that you're not going to change some of your opinions over time, but at least saying, hey, here's the story, here's what's going on, and you really do cover
Think about a few questions we presented, right? At the very least. I agree.
And I think that's really useful. That's why I've liked watching it from afar. I'm just blown away at how much, like, I'm going to want to talk to you in 5 years when you're 30 and see where your opinions are. I'm sure some things will be different, but I'm blown away by how much you know and how much you have been on the ground and experienced. at 25. It's pretty fucking
I'm trying. A lot of this shit, I'm obviously, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but we're having fun talking about it, right?
We're having a lot of fun talking about it. But we've been talking for like 3 hours, Tyler.
That's actually crazy. Yeah.
Which this is blown by. We're gonna have to do this again because what we didn't really talk about was like your whole backstory as well, and like how you ended up doing all this, especially over the last 5 years. I know you've been doing YouTube for 7 or 8, but like how it got here. So we'll have to do that again. Me on, man. But thank you so much for doing it, and obviously we'll have your channel linked and all that. So people, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And you're always doing new shit, so we'll have new shit to talk about.
Julian, thanks so much for having me, man. All right. That was fun.
All right.
Hopefully you get something out of that. Thank you. Yeah.
Everybody else, you know what it is. Give it a thought. Get back to me. Peace.
Subscribe to Julian.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.